Hello, everybody. Right as I hit the live audio on the mic, that's when the cat was like, "Pay attentions to me."
Yep, exactly.
But Frankie's a real cutie. Hello, everybody, and welcome to once more this fine day. Another indoor adventures, but this time, again, I am not in the driver's seat, and I am not going to be for the rest of the day. Instead, Danae is going to teach us a new game when we are in the perfect mind state to learn a new gaming system as we go through the Weird West using the Fate system, which, as I have been told, it is cowboys and superpowers, which sounds rad. That sounds really cool. So, Danae, while I finish getting our setup fixed and figured, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this game system and what players can, what the players in the audience can expect?
Sure thing. Fate is a really fun game system. It's extremely narrative, and it doesn't really focus a whole lot on the crunch of mechanics. It really focuses on telling a story. And so much so that the character creation process is very narrative as well. You come up with something called an aspect, and it's basically just facts about your character based on things that have happened in their past that you will bring up later in game to add bonuses to your role. So, for instance, sorry, got distracted. For instance, like say if a person were like really good at shooting because he had been in a war previously, he'd bring up his wartime aspect and spend a fate point and use that to shoot, get better at that. So that's what Fate is like. Wild Blue is a campaign about, as you said, superpowered cowboys. There is, I'll get started with the whole history of Wild Blue to begin with. People came to the Blue Lands, I think they call it. They came to the Blue Lands and started like colonizing it, like traditional like American history, and things started to happen because the Blue Lands are populated by what are called the folk, and they are just like magical kind of fairy people. And so like this magic is just so steeped into the earth of the land that when people started being born there, like people who weren't from there, they were started manifesting these powers. So these powers always have a drawback, which is something that you come up with when you are making your character. And I think all of us have already come up with powers and drawbacks for their characters. There is a queen in the Blue Lands. She came over from whatever Eastern land came before this. And essentially, she kind of looked at what was going on and saw how there was people manifesting these powers, and like they're still trying to settle these wild lands, and like they're just like, what do we do with these superpowered people and keep them from like rising up and overtaking us? And like there was genuine fear about these new superpowered people. So what she did is that she gave them a job, and she came up with the Order of Wardens. So now there is like an enormous citadel just filled with sheriffs, essentially, with superpowers who get sent out to go and keep order in the Wild Blue Yonder. There's also
Yes.
there's also sky rails, which are constructed from a special type of wood that floats. So like there are just trains that go across rails through the sky. There are pirates who have ships made out of that same wood who will come down and try to take out those trains. There's a special type of metal called cobalt that can be smelted into blue steel, which has special magical properties, very much like the wardens themselves. That's about all I have to say. So I think that we should get started on talking about our characters and what their concepts are. So let's start with, I need to actually look at the stream and see who's on the upper left-hand corner, which is me. Right. It's me! Let's start with Justice. Justice, explain to us your character concept.
So my character concept was basically off of the idea of the downtrodden gambler who has zero luck, but with the sort of twist that he can manipulate the luck of others. The drawback being, if something good were to happen to somebody whose luck he's manipulated, later on down the line, sooner or later, something equally bad will happen to them. So, say, in a gunfight, the person shooting at him trips over because their shoelaces were tied together for some reason. But later on, they might get like a lucky shot on him that grazes.
All right. Cool. I like it. Next one. Graybeard, let's hear your character concept.
I'll be playing in Clockwork Person tonight, and my drawback is indeed, that I break down. I'm old. I'm going to be the old prospector type robot man, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. And your character's name is Rusty?
Rusty. I'm Rusty.
Did you come up with a cool warden? Justice. Did you come up with a cool warden name for your character yet? Or is that something that we're working on?
I think it's just Rusty, because
just Rusty. Okay.
The metal man, and probably wouldn't come up with anything else. See, I've got cats who are killing each other.
Okay.
Anyway.
For once, it's not my cat that's angry.
Amazing.
Justice, did you come up with a character? Or RJ, did you come up with a character name yet?
I was thinking about going with just Joker.
Joker?
Joker or Ace. I don't know which one yet.
Ooh. Shoot. Well, you can go with both, because this is essentially like superhero secret identity stuff. I guess it's not secret identities so much as just like you get a code name now. So you can have an actual name and then your warden name.
What if you just threw them together and you were the Joker's ace?
Which one is which?
Ooh, Joker's Ace.
Ace of Joker?
I could also go really, really wild with it and just call myself King.
Do it.
There is a Queen of the Great Blue, so...
Wear a jaguar mask. Save all of the children of Brazil.
Time to wrestle!
That's amazing.
Oh my god.
All right, well, we'll come back to that. We like the whole first half of this is going to be pretty loosey goosey. So, LB, did you come up with a character concept?
I did. I am playing Talim the Tornado, and she can control wind, but she can control wind with her breath, and if she uses too much of it, she gets winded.
Winded. Just call her Windy.
Don't call me Windy, that's my mom's name.
Oh no, that's adorable. All right, Tyler.
The concept that I had was a character who can see events in the future at will. However, the drawback is they go blind up until the point that that event happens.
Nice.
And still trying to come up with a name. I don't know.
We've kicked around the idea of hindsight.
Right. Which isn't bad.
And
Sorry, what about Oracle?
Ooh.
Oracle sounds good.
Ooh, that's just really cool. That would be too cool for him.
that, girl.
No, it's all right. We're all like knockoff DC villains right now, being cowboys.
I mean, it's not wrong. Steven, tell us about Bloodshot.
Yeah. So, Bloodshot is actually inspired by a character I really liked from two characters that I liked from a manga called Black Cat, and one of them was a dude whose power was that he could manipulate his blood out of his hand, and like there was just a shit ton of blood everywhere, but they would always manifest as like spooky ghosts and ghoulies and stuff. And then there was another character on that show who could use like his spirit energy as a pistol and like shoot spirit energy out of his gun rather than having actual pistol. So I thought to myself, well, what if I was and the anime Blood Blockade Battleground where the people use their blood as their weapon, and apparently Dead Man Wonderland as the it's a general premise to use my own blood for power. There, I said it. But I plan on having a pistol that'll scrape my palm, and then I can use the iron in my blood to form bullets that I shoot at people.
What's your drawback?
My drawback is that I'm anemic and have an insatiable hunger for anything that is high in iron. So that means a lot of kale and a lot of meat. I'm going to town on it.
Delicious.
Just lettuce.
Lettuce.
But yeah, I call myself Bloodshot because I use my blood to shoot people.
All right.
That's it.
Well, I think that a good way to start would be to think about your characters and where they come from, and how exactly did they join the Wardens? How did they, were they approached by another Warden? Were they, did they just hear about it and aspire to become a Warden? How did you find out that you had your powers? I think that's a good place to start. And I don't necessarily feel like you need to take turns here. If anybody has an idea, speak up.
I guess you could say I lucked out on this one.
Boo!
I like the idea that my character really aspired to do something great. And so, after, I don't know how he found out his power, but once he knew his power, he was like, well, I want to be a warden. So I'm going to look into the future until I am a warden. And then he saw it, but then he had to,
but then he was blind,
he was
until
blind
that
for
point.
a little while he was trying to become a warden.
So he realized that he was going to be a warden, and then he went blind.
Yeah.
I think the giant draw of Tyler's character's power is that even though he goes blind, he's seen it, so that means he's actually gonna be alive for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like the major incentive for that power is to just look short distances into the future.
What we were thinking about, my original idea is I wanted somebody to be able to see someone else's actions in combat. So he just looks a short amount of time in the future, sees what the other person's going to do, and be prepared for that.
Yeah.
Just blind until then.
I think it's cool. I don't know. I like the concept.
But the fact that he was pretty much blind for a good amount of time before he became a warden, means he would need someone's help. Maybe someone lucky.
Ooh. And he's starting to hint towards what's coming next, which is crossovers. So what we need to do is to tell a story about how you met another character, or maybe you already knew them and you were friends with them. And what we're going to be getting out of it is an aspect, which would be something that is intrinsic to your character, something that we could later invoke as a part of the game.
Right.
Oh man.
Actually, I was thinking about how our characters met. you know how there's the floating like wooden giant railways, right?
Yes.
What if there was like a sort of luxury style train that's like also like a gambling hall, like those river cruises, but on those wooden rails?
Ooh. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Well, and that's the thing about the railways is that they are the safest way to travel in the wild blue, but or in the blue lands. They're the safest way to travel, but they're expensive. So I can see that.
Happen to
Would you be a gambler? Like if you could see into the future, would you gamble?
Probably.
I mean,
that works out.
I can see that as a possible way that you have met Justice's character. I like the idea of your by the way, Justice, like I'm spitballing here. Anybody can shoot down any idea I throw at you. But for Justice's character, I like the idea that your actual name is Ace, but like your like warden name is Joker or King or something else.
So my head went somewhere dumb, and the full name for my character would be Lee, and then Lee King, and then he has the alias as Joker.
I like it.
Okay.
Why not?
Because if you switch it around, it's King Lee.
Also, when he gets shot, he's leaking.
Well, I can take care
I'm gonna
of
kick
that.
His luck is just oozing out of him. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. I think that each character needs to do 2 crossovers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run down. I'm gonna write everybody down, and you want to cross over with Justice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write Justice and then Tyler.
I want to cross over with Rusty.
This bitch empty yeet.
All right, and then LB, and then Steven.
Oh my god.
LB, Steven, and Graybeard. So, Justice needs to cross over with Tyler. Then I write LB, Steven, Graybeard. Converse amongst yourselves.
All right.
I think Graybeard. Oh my God, Rusty's thing is he wasn't born obviously with a power. He was an attempt by the Queen to make super soldiers.
Oh, that's so cool.
To defend against those with powers, but it just didn't turn out that he's that super. That they break down. They weren't reliable and whatnot.
So were there?
So hence. He's like the prototype that they went, no, we're not spending all the resources on that.
Just dumped him.
Oh, because I was gonna say, like, what if you were like the beta unit, like you were just like while they were working out the kinks, but then it was one of those like, oh well, he has sentience, and it would kind of be just like murdering him if we ended it. So there are other clockwork like guards that were going around. But then you were just like the first model, so you might have some features that the others don't, but they aren't necessarily good features. Like, yeah, I'm a clockwork man. You need an electric ice cream scoop, like
Exactly.
Like, by the way, Steven, you should change it from Streets of Ravnica to Midwest.
I will.
I had a thought about Deus Ex: Mankind Revolution, where instead of like functions that were so Adam Jensen gets basically functions that are locked away because they're super prototype, and like you could switch around the powers, but it increases like your internal heat, so there's more of a chance for you to short circuit. So you have all of these like accoutrements that are like not in others, but they're like super experimental.
Right. The latent abilities or like, yeah, the better the power, the more chance of breakdown.
What if it was like a machine learning thing, where like they didn't expect you to learn as quick as you did, so then it was one of those like, Note to self, don't make the AI so smart next time. Luckily, we only made one, and he seems kind of nice, but, like, overall, let's not do this. Agreed? Agreed?
He like murdered 3 handlers, but hey, ice cream.
Scoop to the eyeball. Oh, God.
Oh no!
Oh no.
All right, cool.
That's amazing. I like it. Very good. Also, while we're coming up with it, we have high concepts, which are your powers and your drawbacks. We also need to get troubles from you guys, which is essentially like
Your tragic past.
yeah, kind of. I mean, like it's something that could come back to bite you still, like something
Constantly in debt.
that. Oh, I like it. I
It's
like it.
close to home. I can roleplay this.
All right, you should.
It's supposed to be
you should write that
escapism,
down as-
RJ. Escapism!
And that's at the bottom with consequences.
That is no consequences is will come up later during gameplay, but
It's right under your aspects,
Yep.
high concept, and then troubles.
Oh, I see it. It's the first box, Greybeard. The
That's
text is really faint. I could barely see it as well.
yeah. The first box under aspects is high concept, and the second box under aspects is your trouble.
I'm gonna say that Talam has to act older than her age because she's not actually old enough to be part of the Wardens. She's lied about it.
Oh,
Like
Or Mila
like
Kunis.
if the age is 18, she's like 15 and has to like really pretend like she knows what she's doing.
why did she decide to join the Wardens so young?
I kind of want to go with the same thing I went with Gwen, but like she okay, how about this? Her family needed money, so she had to go get a job, and since she has these powers, this is her job.
Oh,
Oh, so you're like a Spider-Gwen situation where you're like, every day I'm a normal average high school student, but at night I fight super crime.
Kinda, except for I don't think she goes home to her family.
No.
She just sends them money.
oh, goodness.
Yeah, and letters with really nice handwriting.
Oh,
So is
What's-
it... Sorry, continue.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, if we're pursuing more about LB's backstory, do that first, because I have mine written down. I won't forget it. It's fine.
Mhm.
Okay, so, are we continuing on LB's? Just wanted to make sure.
Are we?
Are we?
Oh, you can. I think that's. I mean,
Okay.
I'm. Unless you think there should be.
Thought
more.
is finished.
Okay.
So your trouble is
My-
like
My trouble is
acting older.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So my trouble was that I grew up in in an orphanage kind of thing, but they were exploiting kids with powers. And like during that troubled upbringing, that's when I would see a lot of the Clockwork Men like coming through, and I always admired them so much because they never looked sad, because I didn't realize that their faces were made of metal and were always in kind of a happier face. So to me, they always looked very happy and very proud, and I knew that they worked for the Wardens. And so I wanted to be like a robot man when I grew up, and because of my upbringing, I'm very cold and calculated based on that, because again, my hero growing up was a robot person. And the model after they removed some of the humanity modulators from actual Rusty. And so I really grew like to really want to be like these things, and eventually I ended up getting like the orphanage, the power orphanage kids ended up getting broken up because of the Wardens coming in and being like, you can't exploit children, what the fuck is this? So I have been raised like from a young age to be a warden by other wardens, because they're like, he's a homeless kid, what do we do? He has these weird powers. If we let him do it on his own, he'll probably die from lack of stakes, so let's bring him in.
Would you call it a mistake?
Yes. A missed steak is a bad steak
It's a
indeed.
bad stick.
Missed
So-
steak. Yeah, so
so-
I wanted my bond to be with Rusty, because then when we actually are in the Wardens, I see one of those things that I looked up to for so long that I actually feel comfortable around, and I just immediately attach onto that because abandonment issues as an orphan.
Oh, so what is your trouble? Is it like
My trouble is more that because of my upbringing, I don't show a whole lot of emotion when it actually comes down to using my powers because I was trained from an early age to use them to kill, not to capture.
okay. All right. So not very emotional. Cold? Let's
Yes.
just call it cold.
You could call it cold and calculating.
All right, I got it. Cold for Steven. Debt for justice. Always in debt.
Always in debt.
Because I imagine, like, before you realized what your power was, you just kept on accidentally giving yourself good luck that would come back to bite you in the butt later.
Big winning! Lose everything. I actually kind of also want, instead of just a monetary debt, like favors owed.
Ooh, that gives me so much to work with. Always in debt. I like that. That's good. I could invoke that quite a bit. You're
That's a
gonna be rolling
scary
big-
word.
Well, like it's exciting because like I can invoke your aspects, but in a way that's not good for you.
Okay.
But when I do that, like you can choose to like resist it, or you can choose to go with it. And to resist it, you have to use a fate point, which is the currency in this game, like the mechanical currency in this game.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like inspiration a little bit. But like every time I invoke an aspect against you, you get a fate point.
Okay.
So like, I mean, it's basically Justice's power, essentially, is that I can make things suck for you so that they suck less later.
You are the meta game. It's legitimately, hey, do you want a power? Yeah. Can I have this game system as my power?
It's
essentially.
it's light side dark side point from like Edge Empire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Categories.
Yeah.
Oh, so for part of my backstory for you to work with, what if I was the only kid who got rescued? And it's like, and so it's one of those things where like I
Soul
never felt like I was
survivor.
like, no, it's not even a soul survivor. Like they were taken away. Like the ring didn't get broken up. It was like on the cusp, and I'd like hit away during that time. So it was one of those like I either don't feel strong enough that I never got to protect my friends at all because I was the only one who made it out, and now I have that like harboring guilt, as well as any of those other orphan kids that got turned into trained killers versus, and as well as the like orphanage people who were running it.
What you're saying is that like this orphanage was raising power kids to be killers?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Because
I
why the
understand that.
like as a kid they're like, we're gonna train you to cut your hand and shoot this gun, like
It's so sad.
yeah. And so it's one of
Okay.
those things like that's why like when it comes down to actually like hunting other like bringing other people to justice, his brand of justice is very much just that like I'm not gonna shoot you in the knee.
So
And if I
so
do,
what
I'm
if
missed?
Going with the crossover here, what if Rusty was the person who found you when you got left behind?
Yes.
Like this could be your crossover. Is that like he found you and brought you to the Wardens?
The
One of-
only time I show emotion or care is when I'm fixing Rusty.
Oh no, you fix Rusty all the time. So, like,
Because again, he's my hero, and I want to make sure that he fucking survives.
And I've got a good troubles. Politics within the wardens. The fact that I'm a warden and the queen tried to make automaton clockwork soldiers to
Right.
defend against people with powers. There's a weird rivalry justice thing
Yeah.
going on
like
where
they probably don't like
politics.
you because you were
Exactly.
originally built to, fight Wardens, essentially.
So
And I was originally built to basically fight wardens as well, but now I'm in them too, so...
And you guys bond over that.
crossover idea. There was a bounty on my head.
Ooh. Who wants the bounty? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
LB's got a bounty. All right.
She
There
gotta
was a
make the
bounty on
money.
your head.
There was a bounty on my head for basically damages to, let's say, like a baron's land. And I had run away, and the baron put a cash sum on my head.
So what did you do that like made this? What damages did you do?
Utter chaos. Like, we went in there was like a poker game going on. I was like, yeah, I could kind of do this. Tried to manipulate my luck, but it kind of went really south. Like, they caught me like cheating basically, but it was more like me manipulating my luck. And in the chaos that ensued as I tried to escape, like, you know, that chandelier falls, that person like trips, blah blah blah. There was just like this huge hullabaloo.
You just caused like it was like a bar fight, and you just caused like major damage all over.
Major damage all over as like he attempted to run away.
Gotcha. In the escape. All right. So then we'll say that Baron called in a warden to go and catch this superpowered person, and that was LB's character.
Wanted dead or alive.
Wanted dead or alive. So, like, did you like by the end of this story, and who's gonna get an aspect from this? That's another thing, is that when you do a crossover, one person gets the aspect. So we should rewind real quick. Steven, your character got the aspect, and your aspect should be that you can fix Rusty, essentially.
Okay, so do I put that? So like, there's a high concept.
You're good with clockwork mechanics.
Sounds good.
So I'd say call it clockwork mechanic.
Sure.
And where does that go on this sheet?
Probably under the 3 beneath your backstory and the high concept.
Under trouble,
Because these are making aspects now with these crossovers. So that's Steven's first crossover aspect. So Steven crossed over with Greybeard. I have that down. All right, who's getting the aspect here? LB or Justice?
I kind of want to say I smooth talked my way out of it by offering my services as a warden, and that's how I joined up. Or, well, what's up, LB?
No, I was just saying I'm a kid. I'm not gonna be smooth talked by a dude. Like, I want the money.
I'm a smooth talker.
my family.
But like,
the shin.
yeah, like you bring me over to the the warden council, and I'm standing on trial, and I'm like, you need a guy like me. I can manipulate luck. It's great, I guess.
So what you're saying is that she caught you.
Yes.
She caught me. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I like to imagine that that's still one of those moments that you kind of think about where you wonder if your power actually gave you good luck or bad luck in joining the wardens. Like, you're just like, is this my curse that I have to do this shit now for everything that I've done? Or it's like, sometimes it actually pays well and I have a good time,
And
so is this the blessing?
It could also connect with Tyler's story where we're on the, like, I want to say river boat ride, and I'm already a warden. And I see this kid this person who's just like winning big, and I go, maybe he has like the same dealie as I do.
Yeah.
And that's where like your vision comes back.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, the question is, can I continue to see the future even though I'm like waiting for a different event?
Yeah, I think that your latest event is when you get your vision back. The latest event that you foresaw, but you can still see the future.
So I've just been blind for a long time, and I just keep on looking, 5 minutes in the future for when the card comes that I win big.
Could you just negate this?
Oh, dude, what if how cool would that be? Is that there's a blind man who's playing cards.
Yeah.
Oh, and like Joker just sits in front of him, like, all right, deal. And it's just like
so like the two of you had like a high stakes card game.
But your powers were slightly canceling each other out.
Yeah, I like it.
Some bitch.
Yeah, but like just imagine that a blind guy playing cards, just blackjack, like hit me. It's like you got.
You have 20. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Hit
20.
me.
What are you doing? Just hit me.
Nice. 21. What the fuck?
Do your eyes go like white or anything when you are blind, or is it like
I think
this
they
guy's
should.
faking it? You know.
That's a good question. It should be obvious when I'm blind.
Yeah.
Would the wardens have made Talum and I partners where Talum would have to have watched Joker? Like his parole officer, basically?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I can see that. I can see that.
Mhm.
You guys are saying-
I'm like one step above you on the ring, so I have like command over you just a little
Seniority.
bit. Yeah.
Would,
Younger than you are.
Yeah.
So, the aspect that you got from you guys in this crossover with the debt collection bounty hunter situation, the aspect that Justice got was smooth talker.
yeah,
All right.
I can talk my way out of any situation.
Anything. I'm keeping notes on this.
I'm having trouble thinking of a trouble, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Being blind
Well, like,
for like
where
a
did you
year
come from?
plus.
Who are you?
what I
Who are you?
who are you?
Who are you?
How many fingers do you have on your left hand?
I think that he like started from a poor family, like out on the, one of those mining towns, out in the wild or near the forest, whatever it's called, I forget.
Okay.
And then as soon as he's started being able to like see things happen, he got greedy and tried to keep taking advantage of it. Up until the point that he like looked all the way in the future to when he was going to become a warden, and then he was pretty much blind from then on out. So I don't know.
I mean, you did
Oh.
consider the idea of being an ex-pirate.
I did. I don't know.
I have an idea that could contribute to your trouble. So
Alright.
how long did you spend blind?
I want to say it was like a solid 2 or 3 years.
Oh gosh.
Because your
that
senses
would make
would
it really
alter.
good.
Your senses would alter, so you would start relying more on your smell, you would start relying more on your hearing. Maybe you get sensory overload really quickly because you're so used to not seeing that having all of this visual stuff, like too many visuals really just like freaks you out kind of deal.
Right. Like I was
Alright.
comfortable being blind, but now that I can see again, like, yeah, I get some real sensory overload.
Because again, like you're smelling things stronger than other people smelling, you're hearing things a bit louder and more defined than other people are, you can feel things more defined, and now your vision is back, and because you have this kind of future vision, it's also kind of like increased that as well, so everything is
Yeah.
like, everyone else is seeing in 720p and you got 4K vision, like all the time.
I can definitely do
Yeah,
something
I
with
like
that.
that sensory
You can see a
overload.
hummingbird wings that flap back and forth.
I have one with Rusty. It could be that one day when we were fighting something, I made a dust tornado, a dust devil, and it made him get all clogged up because of all the dust. So I was able to like pinpoint and like aerosol can, like clean him out. And that gave me the ability to be very precise with my action, with my little spurts.
I like it.
So, can I have a bond with LB then, with Talon?
Mhm.
Because we both fix up Rusty.
Yeah. Hey, could I get a little dust in here?
I like to imagine it because like in my character's backstory, like he was found when he was like 8 or 10 and has just been training with the wardens nonstop. So I like to imagine that like he and Rusty are farther along in the warden program than just the intro one. And so when you came on, they kind of recognized that maybe you were a little bit young to join the wardens, but you had a lot of potential. So instead they suited you up with somebody who, like, you being more of like a loud, boisterous teenager, to be like, okay, why don't you go with that emotionless guy over there to really like help balance you out. And so I was like your mentor in this warden training. So it's one of those things where it's like, I would probably be good at hunting people. I would have taught you how to be, well, tracking down wardens.
Yay.
Saying hunting is
Hunting people, yeah.
oh,
Hunting them.
people.
The most
The most dangerous.
But like how to track down bounties and stuff like that, and I could have taught you those general things. And then also like with the pinpoint helping repair, Rusty, I like to imagine it was one of those situations where it was like you and I were at odds about something, and then you came in while I was like, you overheard me griping to Rusty about like, oh, I don't know, like she's always so like out of control with her breaths, she really needs to just kind of focus kind of thing. And so you being the kind of person that's just like, well, fuck you for thinking thoughts about me, and like you go off and you learn how to do those controlled bursts. And so the next time when I'm cleaning Rusty, you just come over, and even before I have a chance to be like, no, stop, what are you doing? You just start giving these like little air bursts to clean him out. And that's how you and I got our bond, was through like that mutual learning effort. As you were helping me to feel more of like an emotional youth, you, and living my childhood vicariously through you, I am also teaching you how to be fucking effective.
So what I'm getting here is that like the three of you, Rusty, Bloodshot, and Tornado, are kind of like an already established group that they've been working together a little bit longer. And then the other two are newcomers.
Yeah.
I'd really like to have something where, like, I got a boilerplate up front armor that I can like detach or somehow, and I've used it to protect these two idiots for quite some time because they're so brash or young, or I'm Bloodshot, and you go to shoot someone and I'm like, bullets, blang. So I'm able to like take the boilerplate off my chest and like stretch my arms out around them, kind of deal, where I've got like a protection thing.
Well,
yeah, I can see
like
that. That can be an aspect. You can say protective. Is that you're just very protective of these folks.
I was gonna say,
So, and I can see that going both ways. I can see ways that I can invoke that, and I can see ways that you can use that.
Yep.
Where like it's like I'm going to protect these people, but like I could also invoke it in ways where it's all like where they need to do something in a plan that might be risky for them. That because you're protective, you might be against it.
I don't really think that's a good idea.
maybe that's why I started repairing Rusty, was because he kept getting damage to himself by protecting me, that I felt terrible about it. Like, but I couldn't emote
sad.
that. I didn't know how to emote that other than I'll fix you then.
I like it.
Bond I kind of want to have with Rusty. I was thinking, everyone loves Rusty.
Everybody wants a bond with Rusty.
Everyone wants a bond with Rusty. A bond with Rusty. My family comes from like nomadic gypsies, and we're ostracized in the community. So I know what it feels like to be, put out of the equation. You're that sort of outcast outsider.
All right.
So I can empathize with Rusty and like, help him out whenever he needs it.
Rusty
Like it?
senpai.
Rusty senpai.
Rusty senpai.
Helm senpai.
So the aspect then for RJ would be empathy.
How would this work?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Outcast, perhaps.
Kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits. That's a good one.
And does that go both ways then, or does one person
I think
get
this
the
is an aspect for Justice's character.
perfect?
All right. I need to. I'm gonna very quickly go over what everybody's aspects are.
Okay.
Let's see. Justice's trouble is always in debt. Tyler's trouble is sensory overload. LB's trouble, I'm going to call it living a lie. Steven's trouble is cold and calculating. And Graybeard's trouble is...
I put down Queen Warden politics.
I like it. Queen Warden politics. All right. And now we're looking at aspects. So, Justice, do you have an aspect yet from a crossover?
just got one.
Oh, you have you have two. The first
Yeah.
one was Smooth Talker.
Smooth talker. I can talk my way out of almost any situation with LB's character.
All right. And Tyler, did you get an aspect yet?
I haven't yet.
All right, we'll come back to you then. LB, do you have an aspect yet?
Muted.
Yeah.
Yes. I know.
What was the aspect?
The precision air.
Oh, precision.
My-
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna call it precision.
Yes.
Steven, do you have an aspect?
Clockwork mechanic.
Clockwork mechanic. Okay. All
I
right.
fix Rusty.
I was gonna write all of this down on paper, and I was like, this isn't working.
Cannot
so
write
I'm-
fast.
Yeah, exactly. I can type faster than I can write.
I have protective.
For Rusty. All right, so we need to get a aspect for Tyler.
Yes.
He's holding the cat. We need an aspect for Tyler. We had discussed his origin story having been that he played a high stakes game with Justice's character, correct?
Yes.
And I would have been there
You would
because
you were keeping an eye on him.
If he was a warden, I would have been there to keep an eye on him.
Oh, tell him it's just a game of cards.
So what were the stakes of this game, and how did it end in him becoming a warden?
Blood.
Oh,
Someone say
I got it.
stakes?
it came to a head where we were both basically like at a plus minus 0, and so like King puts his badge down and he goes, "I bet you can't become a warden."
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you my badge you can't draw me in this hand.
And you saw to when you flipped your hand down, and then he flipped his hand down, but I was the one who beat you.
Right.
I like it.
I dig.
You're like, haha, I won, and I'm like, no, you didn't.
Royal straight flush. Well, shit fire.
I'm sorry. You said you couldn't become a warden, and now you are.
So your aspect could be that you don't necessarily the big picture. You learn
Right.
to look at the big picture
Instead of
instead of just one thing. You gotta look at more than one thing.
okay. Big
So-
picture.
That's good, because I can invoke that either way. That could go like good for you or bad for you because you forgot to look at the big picture. Awesome. I like it. All right. We need to do another round of crossovers. So think about who you haven't crossed over with yet, and how we can progress from there.
I was actually wanting to say, because we can have 3 bonds, yeah?
Yes, we can go up to 3.
Okay,
If you would
because
like.
I want my last bond to be with Tyler. And I like the idea of one of those, like, it's a training mission that kind of went a little bit south because I'm one of the mentors at this place, as part of this, I guess. Or at least, like, one of the older student warden people who's just like, teach the younger ones how to warden.
Right.
And so we were on what was supposed to be an easy mission, but then that's when you used your portent ability to kind of see into the future for a few minutes, and it was one of those, like, get down. And then both of us have to drop low, and you end up saving my life because of that. Like,
Right.
but, like, before that moment, for me, you were just, like, kind of a shitty, happy-go-lucky kid. Like, there was really no, like, redeeming quality, and I feel like that's one of those things where maybe Bloodshot doesn't necessarily like Joker, because Joker is very much like, oh, I'm gonna twist fate and make everything better for me, and it's like, worst background possible. Like, there is no changing my fate. My fate is what I make it. And so, like, having this person who's just like, hey, by the way, your past is gonna catch up to you in about 3.49 seconds. It's like, okay, shit. Like, and I like to imagine this scene where it's both of us up against, like, a brick wall kind of thing. And I ask you, like, I'm gonna turn around that corner. What am I gonna see? And then, like, you and I are both... So that way, like, you can tell me where the baddies are, and so that way I can turn around right at the exact moment where they pop up, and I can drop them for us to get to safety. So, like...
And I'm watching your back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm blind the entire time because I'm constantly looking forward to, like, the next thing that you have to fight.
So is this an aspect where you learn to respect your newer is this are you, I like it's watch your back.
Yeah.
Like that should be what the aspect is called. So like is this you learn to respect your teammates. You learn to take their input and collaborate.
I am going to say that this is one of those appearances are deceiving kind of thing, because just because your exterior is one way doesn't mean that your interior is going to be the same either, which I feel is also self-reflective of himself, where he's learning how to try to make his exterior seem more approachable to people, more likable, but he doesn't know how. So then there's this cool kid who also has this neato power, and he's like, teach me.
Well, maybe you both get an aspect from this.
Yeah.
Maybe your aspect can be watch your back, where you learn to collaborate with others.
I learned to work with other people a lot better,
And-
as opposed to always looking out for myself.
And your aspect could be the fact that appearances are deceiving.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
judge a book.
Only judge books
Good.
with bad
It's-
covers.
It's 3 o'clock.
Mhm.
A giveaway.
There is no one really in chat who has not already won a giveaway.
Okay.
Yep.
I haven't won a give out.
All right, so don't judge a book for Steven, and watch your back for Tyler.
Or is it watch your back or I got your back?
I-
I think watch your back.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, we've got to do the sight
Yeah.
joke.
Reeves.
I was just gonna say.
Fucking post in chat, Holmes, because you want to know what you win at 4 o'clock or at 3
You
o'clock.
win nothing.
You win. Holy potatoes! We're in space. That's the name of the game. Is Holy Potatoes? We're in space. You
It's
win.
cool.
Oh, I thought you were doing a bit.
No,
No, it's a good day, man.
I'm not like, is the game changing? Okay.
JD.
No.
Superpowered cowboys in
JD,
space.
I will. You can win a prize too. We have a lot of codes to give away. You can get Life is Strange.
Ooh.
Yes.
Mm.
And that's all of the chapters. So,
Find out.
he's Reeves. I'm gonna write it down. Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Because I gotta get these codes from Barry, and he's asleep.
Did you guys know that in German, the word potato is Kartoffel?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Potato.
Oh. I mean, a lot of German words.
sentence.
I said the word potato in German is Kartoffel.
I know,
What
but
does that mean?
Well, just like the word for ambulance is Krankenwagen.
yeah.
Yeah, I
The
know.
word for
I know
hospital
where
is
you're-
Krankenhaus.
When you
Yeah.
literally translate some German words, like
Yeah.
for instance, their word for ice means frozen water with corners. You know,
Yeah.
like
Ben, what's there's the entertainment, something entertainment system, surround sound entertainment system is one word. Just all of it is
Yeah.
one
I mean, German has a propensity to just smash words together and
That
call
was-
it a new one.
When I was in German class in high school, that was our favorite end of week activity, was to see how long of a word we could create, and the longest one that we got to was the word for the captain of a steamboat where blackjack is played.
Gosh,
Do you remember
It was
what
like
it is?
28 letters long. There's no fucking way I remembered that word.
Do you want to tell them what the surround sound, the German word for surround sound system or whatever it is?
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Oh, I thought you knew that.
No, I just know it's a very, very long word.
Well, good
See?
to know.
I think butterfly is like this
Off the top of my
long.
head, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look something up.
Okay, he's gonna look something up.
All right.
okay, it spooked me when he walked up behind you because like my brain read it as Tyler's walking up behind me,
Right?
but I'm all like, but that's Tyler right there.
I was like, yeah,
They're in the house.
All
But
right.
if Tyler's over there, then who's behind me?
All
If
right.
Tyler's over there, who's driving the plane?
Oh my
Who's
God.
driving the car? are. It spooked me. Anyway, we need to more crossovers.
More
Crossover.
crossovers.
Oh, geez.
I got my 3.
You got all 3 of them?
Yes,
You
but I
pulled-
did not get an aspect from my crossover with LB.
Wait, hold on. What are your aspects? I have Clockwork Mechanic, Don't Judge a Book,
And that's it.
and that's it.
I only have 2.
Oh, okay.
So I still have a slot for a third, but I was figuring 1 aspect per bond.
Mhm.
So LB's, ours was like me being like a mentor kind of figure.
Yeah, being able to teach better, or you figured out a way to teach me, like you know how to get down to the.
I can speak to
nitty-gritty.
troubled youths.
Yes. I'm not troubled.
You're just a little troubled.
Just
All
a
right,
little
he's
bit
ready.
of trouble.
He's ready. I'm not gonna say it. You have to say it.
Danau damp Schriftferts Elektricitäten Hauptbetriebswerk Banout Erbeamtengesellschaft.
Sounds
Association of
Gesellschaft.
subordinate officials of the head office
Gesellschaft.
management of the Danube Steamboat Electrical Services.
Gosh, it just kept on
That is the
going.
longest word in German.
Yes.
It's a word.
Gross.
Love it. That's amazing.
Gross. All right, continue.
Right.
Troubled Mentor.
Yeah.
I dig it.
That's what we're gonna call it.
Because then the trouble also part can you be, because that aspect you can invoke whenever it's anybody else that I know from my sordid past.
All right. So we're going for 3 crossover aspects each.
I think I have 3 already.
Do you? What's your third one?
I have Rusty, I have LB, and I have
What are your aspects? from
Talum.
Yeah, but we need to
Yeah.
derive aspects from that. So you have Smooth Talker from your LB crossover.
I think for me and Tyler's character, it would be competitive by nature,
I like it. I like it.
or sore loser. I think that would be even worse.
Ooh.
Hey,
Oh man, you're just trying to make me hate you more now.
So how did that end? I mean,
Oh no, it ended with Talum slamming down a royal straight flush.
yeah.
Yeah, she got both of us.
yeah.
Also, Royal Flush would be a great warden name.
Would be.
Anyway,
The Queen's toilet. What is this?
so you're a sore loser. Do you hold like a grudge against someone for this?
Well, I figure yeah, because it's technically cheating on my end, but I'd feel cheated because I'm using my powers and it should go my way, but like it
you
didn't.
get I mean, like, you are an extra sore loser, because if you used your powers to cheat and win, then like it's still gonna come back and bite you later. Like that you gave yourself that good luck, and like now not only do you lose, but you're gonna have bad luck later.
It's a no-win, honestly.
No win situation. All right, what was your other crossover? You crossed over with LB, you crossed over with Tyler.
I think it was with Rusty, where we were basically
Oh, outcasts.
okay,
Together.
kindred spirits. That's
Kindred
what it was.
spirits.
And that was RJ's, not mine.
Yes.
Yes. But you can get something from it.
Okay.
Do
Maybe.
you want kindred spirits too? You can have kindred spirits as
Yeah,
well.
I think that's a good one.
That was when I was out training Tyler's character. Is that you and I, Rusty, because we're like the mentor guys at the school, had to break up and pick one to go with, and so you ended up choosing the lucky kid, and lucky kid got his wish, and then I went with the kid who could see into the future.
The blind guy.
Yeah. So maybe that was when you and RJ learned about each other a little bit more during that encounter.
I like
Joker.
that.
All right, that for me that just leaves LB.
Yeah, I only have the precision and I have confidence, which I got when I was with probably both of the other ones with RJ and with Tyler. And it could be like an overconfidence where I'm like, I got this. It always works out for me. And then, but with Rusty,
you got the precision.
Yeah,
You got precision from your crossover with Rusty. You got confidence from your crossover with from I think that you got confidence. Well, I don't know.
Probably if I
Probably
captured
confidence from-
RJ by myself.
Was that your like first big thing?
Yeah.
All right. I can see how that would build your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
What could you have gotten from the card game aside from confidence?
Well, do we need a different one for me? Well, because the precision wasn't me and Rusty specifically. It was me and Bloodshot, because he made me angry because I overheard him say that like I need to focus, and I'm like, fuck you, I can focus. So I went and I learned it, and then
well, then maybe that's the aspect, is that you're contrary.
I was going to say maybe it's like a quick study kind of thing, like you pick up on stuff really quick.
Mm-hmm. I don't. And
How about
that,
headstrong?
yeah.
I like
Because-
that one. 'Cause that way you can
my
invoke it too.
other thing too. Yeah. I have to get good at things quickly, otherwise people are gonna be like, you seem like you should know this because you're like 18, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, sex, totally know about that.
Amazing. All right. The last two people that need aspects, it looks like. Do you need?
I need a third one, yeah.
Yeah, you need a third one, and Greybeard needs a third one.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be time for a crossover with Tyler and Greybeard then.
Ooh.
All right.
Crisscross. So he can see you can see the future. You can see the future.
I can see the future.
Your drawback is that you're on fire. So what could it be that you crossed over with Greybeard for? Is this something that maybe, is this like after you joined the Wardens, or is this before you joined the Wardens?
Could be something before.
Since he's fairly since Rusty is a pretty old robot, maybe he met you when you were young.
Like
Maybe.
me.
Could be.
Well, how did you get in the Wardens?
So, I think it is at that card game, like after, RJ's like, oh, you'll try to say like bet being a warden. I don't know how would that work.
I think that RJ was gonna stick his neck out for you if he lost. I think, or like maybe RJ's character did what he always does and bet favors.
Yeah. So what if?
So the favor would be getting him in the Wardens.
Right. What if Rusty was sent with Bloodshot to go get Tyler before, but he was able to slip away. So when we got there and we said, well, we could either forget we saw you or you're going to come work with us. And that was the bet on the game.
What if Tyler was in trouble? What if Tyler got kidnapped at some point? What if there was a villain somewhere that wanted to use Tyler's powers
Back when he was
of future sight?
Back when he was a kid and was figuring out his powers and kind of like bragging about it to people, he gets snatched up by some small-time villain.
Yeah.
That wants
some small potatoes.
The Power
Come out
Orphanage.
Ooh.
Maybe the Power Orphanage tried to kidnap you, and like that's how they got so many of the orphans. Right?
And this could have been how Rusty found out about the orphanage, was that he rescued this little like future seeing kid, and like were able to interrogate the kidnapper and find out why he kidnapped him.
And how about I never caught the guy, and so I've got this inherent defeatism that that works in there. So my aspect would be like defeatist. Like I always expect us to not get through. And
You're
The
the-
one that got away.
You're the
Yeah.
robot
Yeah.
from Star Wars, like Rogue One. You're the one who's just like, would you like to know the percentages that will make it out of here? They're not very high.
I don't believe without your power we'll make it.
So what if okay, Greybeard's could be defeatist and yours could be the one that got away?
Well, the way I see it is like he rescued me in that situation, and that's what spurned on my original desire to become a warden sometime in the future. But what would
Would I have
I
been
don't know,
there
like a
with
good role
Rusty?
model or something like that?
What's
like,
that?
Like he's a good role model for me.
How do you aspect that?
Yeah, that's my problem.
High aspirations? I got high hopes. I got high
Thank you
hopes.
to whoever donated the 50. That's awesome.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Thank you.
I'm writing down defeatist.
It was my mom.
Well, tell
Aw.
your mom
Well-
thanks.
Thanks,
we're-
Mama LB.
We're gonna give your mom a
clang.
hammer.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thanks, LB's mom.
Yay!
Yay.
Such a satisfying noise.
It is.
Wait, where's it? Where is it?
It's too late.
Where are they?
The
I'm
moment's
here, little
fast.
bug.
Where's the
The
bomb?
time is fast.
So imagine when you're wearing that and you get hit in the head with a piece of rattan.
Mhm.
It's also a very satisfying noise. You're like, yeah.
Maybe
Howard.
okay. So
Oh,
so for the Tyler Rusty combination,
Yes.
which do we have a name for you yet? Like I have the layout pretty much already, except for your name.
Well, I think I'm gonna go with my warden name as Hindsight.
Okay.
Foresight.
Foresight, yeah.
Portent.
I like
Captain?
Foresight.
Oracle.
Important.
So what? Sorry, what is it? There's a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
people
Or I'm
shouting
just yelling
things.
names.
Yeah, you guys are. Let's
Hold
go
on.
with Foresight.
Let me look up thesaurus.com. Here we go.
Captain Foresight?
The auger.
Captain Foresight.
Oh, Akbar.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's a trap.
Omen drawn.
I thought it was gonna be
Delphi.
Well, I like
Oracle.
I
Oracle.
like sight being in it somewhere. Because,
Okay.
Insight.
Future sight.
Lion-O.
Just
Future
Um,
sight.
True sight.
True sight. Ooh.
Actually, yeah.
They
okay.
could just call you sight for short.
Sounds.
Yes.
You got the sight.
We got true
You
sight
got
and
the
bloodshot.
OTS. I like it.
Mm.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
True sight.
His real
So
name is Boone Ambles.
Omen. That's
Boone
so dark.
anvils.
Boone Ambles.
Boone ambles.
okay.
All right.
So I was gonna say, what if like my main thing was I got rescued from Power Orphanage, ended up going with Rusty. Rusty was the one who ended up like coming to bust that kind of thing. Then I trained with Rusty for a while, and then we end up going on finding same kid, like same kind of kid, but like he was about to be kidnapped, but we ended up putting a stop to it, and that was your character.
Right.
Maybe I don't remember you as somebody who I saved, so it's one of those things where like you still look up to Rusty, and like I'm just like this weird shadowed figure off to the side. But then we end like me being like, oh, like ends up remembering like, oh, you were the kid that was about to get kidnapped. Maybe if you had a better power, this wouldn't have happened. Like that kind of thing, like being really shitty. But like that's when you end up saving my life with your shitty power.
Yeah.
Because maybe that was when you almost got kidnapped, was after you had used your power and you were blind. And so you couldn't see them like coming up to kidnap you.
Oh. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to forget a rusty robot man. You know, like, so that's why you looked up to him.
Mm-hmm.
it's harder to remember somebody else when you're newly blind.
Yeah. So what's the aspect?
Yeah. So what's the aspect?
I don't know.
Someone to look up to,
Uh,
because it fits in with the sight sight
yeah.
motif.
Blind admiration.
Ooh.
Ah.
Ooh.
So it's one of those things where like you want to be the hero that you always believed Rusty to be, but to a flaw where like I imagine like it was one of those like there were comics about people like Rusty that you would read as a kid and like get all these ideas in your head about what being a warden would be like.
Yeah.
And so then you met one and holy shit, Superman saved me. And like it's one of those like syndrome from The Incredibles, but you actually turned out to be a good guy.
Turned out
Incredible
okay.
boy.
Incredible.
Yes.
You're not affiliated with me.
Yeah. I like that idea that, just blindly looking up to heroes without really knowing anything about them.
Yeah. Blind admiration. But
Blind
how can we invoke that in a good way?
Because he has idealism at that point. Because like regardless of like how dark the night is, he's always going to believe that if he just looks far enough into the future that there is going to be another morning that comes out.
There's a silver lining.
He's an optimist.
Yeah.
All right, I can see that. All right, very quickly. So we have got a very good amount of information here. I'm very excited. This is always my favorite part of the game. So LB, what was your character's name again? It's Tornado.
Talum the Tornado.
Talum the Tornado.
Talum.
Tallum.
Talim.
T-A-I.
I didn't come up with that name.
Talum. Okay. Steven, do you have an actual name for Bloodshot? Or has he
Yes.
just been called Bloodshot from the beginning?
No, Bloodshot was the name that he was basically like forced to learn as his own while he was in the orphanage. But he later ended up like discovering what his own name was, kind of deal. And I have it written down in my character sheet as Mordecai Smith.
Ooh.
Smith because he has no last name and it's just
Right.
the most general one. And it also works towards the clockwork mechanic aspect where like I am technically a smith. I fixed the
You are a
robot man.
clocksmith.
Yeah.
All right, I have names, I have aspects, I have troubles, and I have a direction to go with the story. I think that if we want to take a break, now would be a good time.
No.
Because I've had a sandwich sitting in this drawer, and boy, is it calling my name. Do we want like a 5-10 minute break, y'all?
Yeah, let's do a 5. Let's try and come back by 3:30.
Sounds good?
Yeah. All right.
All right, go bye.
All right.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
It's
Sandwich.
break time. Damn it, work.
We'll do it
We'll
live.
do it live. We'll do it live. Welcome. Man, oh man, welcome back, everybody. We have a surprising amount of vigor for currently being, hey, Justin, 15 and a half hours in. These last 7 hours have seemed like a real breeze. He's not doing okay.
Today, Wings is brought to you by Red Bull.
Yes.
Red Bull gives you
I have
wings.
coffee and Red Bull.
He still looks so stabby right now.
I'm just gonna put all your names in my death note.
We've been through this. You're not like Shinigami. But yeah,
I'm gonna
so
take this chip.
we are going to finish up working on our character sheets, and then we're gonna get through this thing. I think so. Refresh was 4. You said
3.
3.
Yes.
Can I talk you down to
Numbers.
7?
What?
Can I talk you down to 7?
No. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. Starting off, it's time for numbers. Is everybody excited about numbers? I
Yes.
sure am.
Woo, numbers.
All right. We're gonna decide your stats, which is called an approach in Fate Accelerated Edition. Fate Core, I think, does something different, but what we're doing is approaches. And that's careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, or sneaky. What you need to do is decide what you're best at and put a +3 next to that. and do one thing.
And it's a +3,
+3.
not
Next
just
to-
3. Got to put the little,
I mean,
because
you
there
can.
will be
I mean, you don't
negative
have to.
something. No, but there will be a negative
There
thing.
will not be a negative for
Okay,
your
okay.
approaches, but it'd probably be a good idea to have a plus there just so that you're,
Perfect.
I don't know, man. Do whatever you want. You do you.
So sorry, the thing you're best at is +3.
Yes, the thing that you're best at is a +3. And then you're going to pick 2 runners up and do a +2 for those. And it doesn't really, like, I mean, just, I'll explain. I'll explain further in a second. We'll just focus on numbers. So everybody pick 2. All right. Then you're going to take 2 more and put a +1 next to those. And I guess what you could do is just decide what you're worst at and put a 0 next to it, and then the rest is 1s.
I am not a forceful boy.
You're not a forceful boy.
No.
Me neither.
I'm clever.
You're clever. I can respect that.
I had to learn how to survive in the orphanage. Make it
Yeah.
sound like prison.
You had to be smart. Well, the first thing you gotta do
It was
is find the
childhood.
biggest child on the yard.
You gotta
and
shoot
Make
him.
him
him.
your bitch. Or what?
Just
What version have you heard, Justice?
I'm sorry.
alrighty. Sounds good. I got mine down.
Everybody got your stats?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. The Red Bull is kicking in. Woof. You want some?
Yes.
Okay. I can cheer. Where are you in the stream? How much time do we have left, Steven? Time check?
We're at 3:38 and you're going until 6.
Plenty of time.
Or 8. Sorry.
Yeah.
8.
Plenty of time.
Yep. So we still got 4.5 hours of gameplay.
Do this.
If
I
not, we
believe-
can move up kids on bikes too. I can film.
That's true. That's true. We can probably vamp towards the end, if we get to the end. But I just want to try and keep track of how much time we have so that I can plan ahead. All right. So everybody has their aspects, yes? Or aspects. Everybody has their aspects. Everybody has their approaches. All right. So the way that approaches work is that essentially, if you need to accomplish something, you're going to convince me. You're going to sit down. You're going to explain to me how you're going to approach something in say a forceful way. So I'm going to forcefully bust open this door. You need to be able to explain to me how your attack or your action can be described as that approach. Does that make sense? You could cleverly move in a serpentine way to not get shot at.
Serpentine! Serpentine!
Serpentine! Yeah, something like that. What else do we need to address? Stunts. Okay. All right.
How we
Well-
stunting?
How do we stunt?
Weird flex, but okay.
All right. I will send you guys a link to stunts. Hi, Frankie. Refresh is the number of fate points you begin each game session with. Okay, so go ahead and write down 3 next to your refresh. I had you guys all write down 3 for your refresh.
And current fate points is.
So your
3.
current fate points is 3. So you aren't starting with an empty gun.
Wait, where did you send us this link?
I haven't sent.
Okay, cool.
I'm making sure I have the right thing first.
Sounds good.
Generally, stunts give you a bonus, almost always a +2 to a certain approach when used in a particular action under specific circumstances. Choose one stunt to start, or you can wait to add stunt during the game. Later, when your character advances, you can choose more. We will not be worrying about advances because this is a one-shot, and that's basically just game levels. All right. Here comes the link. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, well, actually, I'll just send you the link that explains stunts in.
You're gonna make us read?
I mean, maybe.
Good lord. Reading?
Good God.
I believe in you.
The gall on some people.
Oh goodness, Smooth Talker is actually an example here.
Oh,
Ah, yes. Lover of puzzles.
Because I'm a smooth talker, I can get a +2 when I sneakily create advantages when I'm in a conversation with someone. So here's the reason why I think that we should just start playing the game and then make stunts as we go along. Because we need to actually find out what would be useful to have as a stunt first. The fact that we have to make them ourselves kind of requires us to know what the game's going to throw at us.
We already have one stunt, though. And that's Rusty pulling out his boilerplate shield and blocking people.
Yes.
Because he has extendo arms that he uses during that time.
I wanna say that is, you can give a +2 to somebody's defense roll.
So type that in.
Yeah.
Okay.
How often though? How often can that happen?
yes.
Because I am protective, I can give a +2 to someone else's defense roll.
Would that
When I
also
am
directly?
Next to someone being attacked.
I was gonna say, since he's ripping his own boilerplate off, wouldn't that cause some structural damage?
It would probably need to be repaired afterwards.
Every time.
Okay,
Once per scenario, then?
that's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, Franklin. How are you?
He's hungry.
Around.
I mean, he's always hungry.
Around bright.
Is that how you know? Is that how you know how he is?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else that we need to do? Is everything filled up here? Aside from stunts. Okay. Okay. All right.
Do we need stresses or consequences, or is that an in-game thing?
That'll come up in game.
Okay.
When you get attacked and stuff, you will experience stress. And the more stress you have, basically when you fill your stress bar, you get a consequence, which is basically just a permanent, how do I say? Not permanent, semi-permanent. It's a lasting debuff, is what I want to say. I think in one of them, somebody got tinnitus.
Oh,
Jeez.
I would never wish that on anybody.
Nope,
No.
me neither. But I think we're looking pretty good here. The way that the way that combat works is that you will choose an approach, and then attack with your approach. And whenever you attack somebody, they defend. So they will use an approach to defend with. So that's how it goes. It's kind of weird. You roll for everything, even armor class technically.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, I think we're ready to actually start playing game now.
Yay!
I think game is ready. You guys have already been established as a group that works together as friends and co-workers, wardens. I think we are ready to go. So I'm going to make sure I have all of my resources here with me, and we get started. We're going to begin in the Citadel. So what does a normal day look like for your characters? What would you generally be up to in the Citadel amongst all the other wardens?
a lot of paperwork.
Why do you have paperwork?
I'm a warden, right?
Oh, okay. I can see that.
So, a little off topic.
I don't know. I just feel like you would blow that off.
Figure out a
Then
way
it
to
would catch up.
someone
with
else
me,
do
and
it.
I've known how things catch up to you, and it's horrible.
You don't like paperwork fall behind because you know what happens when it catches up to you.
Perhaps
So
this is
You want to
perhaps
say?
the amount of paperwork you have is a turn of bad luck.
It's just like,
I was-
oh, today I don't have any paperwork.
The question is this a turn of bad luck that you that you're doing on purpose, or is this a turn of bad luck that you're getting because you did something lucky before?
Ooh, yeah.
Are you
Those could be both ways. Like some days it's paying for something from before, and then other times we're like, I need to give myself some luck in the future. So
I got myself a free sandwich the other day, so I'll file out like 300 pages of paperwork today. I think today would be luck I'm paying back.
okay? You're inconveniencing yourself because you've been having a few lucky streaks lately. All right. So Joker is doing paperwork.
Joke.
What is everybody else up to?
I think True Sight is finding himself a quiet corner and just not trying to, not get overwhelmed by stuff. Have a day where you can just, see instead of being blind all day.
There is a nice courtyard you can go out to.
Probably read a good book.
That sounds lovely. That's something that you weren't able to do for those years that you were
Yeah.
blind. I mean, I'm sure that they have Braille books, but you didn't know Braille when you went blind.
No,
So
never bothered to learn it.
did you?
No.
No. Okay. He doesn't know Braille.
I don't know Braille.
He was just illiterate for a while. All right. What about Stephen Bloodshot? What's Bloodshot up to?
So I have a question about my firearm.
Okay.
So can I, with my power, can I, essentially, craft a bunch of bullets and then just, have them as, a backstock? Or is it one of those things where it's, as I'm fanning the hammer, that's what's drawing the bullets out?
I mean, I think it's really up to you.
I'm going to say...
I think that you could probably, this is a potential to put a stunt together, I think, is that you could craft a special bullet ahead of time.
I'm going to say... Because that, I feel, would be a careful aspect, and I don't have very good stats in careful. So it's one of those things I don't feel like he would necessarily feel like, oh, I need to make a special bullet for this situation. It's one of those, I just need to hit him in the right spot.
Clever, though?
Oh, yes, I'm very clever. That is my top stat. So what I was thinking for clever was actually going to be using visual and audio cues from my surroundings to help me aim better. For example, in the situation where, again, it's back up against the brick wall, there's people shooting down, but I look over and I see that it's one of those turning mirrors that they have on long windy roads that kind of shows you what's around the corner, to be able to look at something like that and then judge my shot without looking where I'm shooting over there based off of what I'm seeing.
I can see that.
But so with the gun, though, I feel like it is one of those things where one, I probably blood dope to get more blood into my body, so that way I am able to use my power more often. And two, because the blood that I am getting is not rich enough in iron, I have to just eat a bunch, which is basically like a steak and kale salad, because that has the highest iron content that I can think of.
What is blood doping?
Blood doping is where you put more blood into your body, and it is what professional cyclists use when they want to cheat. because as there is more blood in your body, exercising allows your blood to become more oxygenated. So it's actually easier for you to work out for extended periods of time because you literally have more oxygen in your body.
So is the way that you're spending your time right now is that you're having a transfusion and you're just eating a salad?
Yeah,
at the
kind
same
of.
time?
Yeah. Just like eating the salad. And, like, it doesn't have to be at the same time. Like, there are some days where it's just like, maybe I want to read a book. Or I feel like he might be an audiobook person, so that way he can close his eyes as well as learn how people say words. Learn how people emote certain phrases. So it's more of like one of those like how to learn Spanish kinds of books where they say the word in English and then say it in Spanish, but it's him listening to audiobooks in the hopes that he can learn how to like say the same things. Because he's clever, he's able to pick up on stuff like that pretty easily, I would assume.
I don't know if audiobooks exist yet.
In my head, I was like, "There's a Victrola," you know.
Yeah.
It's on record.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
It's this big.
All right, I can respect that.
Yeah.
That you're getting a transfusion listening to an audiobook on a record and eating a salad.
Yeah, eating a salad that has steak chunks in it. There has to be large bits of meat, and it doesn't really go together that well. I usually like to have them separate, but if it's a busy day, I'll make it a steak salad.
All right,
Just to save time.
All right, you're probably anticipating the fact that you're about to get sent out on a mission, so you're getting ready.
Oh yeah, I'm getting so much more blood in me.
So that you'll be ready to get rid of it later.
And that was also one of the things with my gun, because if my firearm, if I don't make the bolts beforehand, I would like for there to be a small blade on the inside of on the tip of the hammer. So as I'm fanning it, it's just cutting my palm, so that way it can get easier access to the blood that's coming out.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Ouch.
And so then it's just
gross.
Yeah, figure out how much blood it takes.
15 people.
Something what's it? I think something that Bloodshot would definitely hate is that Bloodshot and Joker share the same blood type.
So does Joker sometimes draw the short straw so that he can go and give blood?
I think if it's like a field thing, Bloodshot overtaxes himself. He's like,
oh, he can...
well, fuck.
How would that work? Do I have the power to draw blood out of people?
No, what's
I'm
it?
pretty sure
It's like a syringe, a needle goes into the wrist, goes into your wrist, and they sit there for a few minutes.
Just have a transfusion ready to go at any given moment.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the hot new thing.
All these blood transfusions.
Victorian era, about the time when Dracula was written.
And you're real lucky they ain't using leeches no more.
Says you.
Maybe.
All right, what are LB and Greybeard up to?
I would, if I could. I want to have had convinced Rusty, since he has a clock going on the inside. I want him to be my alarm clock, because I know as a teenager I never want to get up. So he has to physically force me to get out of bed, and then I start my training routine.
And so there it is. I was just gonna say Rusty doesn't get a room or anything like normal folks. He's got a closet generally, and he just kind of goes to, because he doesn't need to sleep and he doesn't need to eat and he doesn't need stuff. So he's just this old closet. It's if his nameplate were to fall off, it would say janitor, on the closet. And so that's the deal is I come, and then it's just I don't know, my hand goes ding 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 against my chest as the alarm bell to wake.
Are you just in her room, or come to her?
Probably just
standing in the corner?
And I refuse to do paperwork because time means nothing to me, and so that's probably how it ends up in Joker's pile. The paperwork ends up there because I'm I don't have time for this. You know.
You are his turn of bad luck.
Yes.
I like it. All right. Well, like I said, y'all are y'all.
Y'all.
He is the wild blue y'all. Y'all are anticipating a job today. That there's been some hullabaloo that they're going to send out a group of wardens for something, and you're just kind of waiting on the go ahead. So, I think Graybeard and LB would be a good place to start. So you wake up Tornado, and what is your workout schedule? What's your training?
Yeah.
There you go.
Ah, I know that
5
sound
more
well.
minutes, please. Rusty,
Okay,
I just
we-
want 5 more. Just 5 more.
Don't got time for no 5 more. Stuff to do.
She just sits up, her hair's all.
My God, I live this every day with my youngest.
What happened to escapism?
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
risky.
Rusty, what time is it?
And I tell her.
All right. I'm gonna go lift weights and then practice my moves. Like, I'm the one that's outside, like, training physical stuff as early as I physically can get up because I'm a teenager. But I have to, like, make sure I keep that consistency up. Otherwise, people are gonna start to figure it out. So I'm gonna do that.
Rusty doesn't train, but he makes a good practice dummy.
Yeah.
He'll stand there. He's afraid to use any of his stuff because it might break or stick or whatever. So he just kind of lumps around and then just stands.
Does I want to call him Deadshot. Does Bloodshot join us for workouts?
I would probably join.
You're muted.
So the tables have done the turning. This is a lazy Susan of forgetful microphones. And so I would probably join you guys after my blood transfusion, mostly just so that way I can work the oxygen out of my blood. Mostly because, like, it is considered, like, kind of doing shady shit before a mission, but it's specifically so that way I can work harder. The other idea that I had, would they have, like, an iron supplement? Like, if I just took, like, a tablet that was, like, 5 billion times, like, 15 people's worth of iron in a capsule.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, yeah, so then I wouldn't have to do the blood transfusion. I would, or I
Definitely get like some snake oil. From
yeah, I would do the blood transfusion if I was out, like, if I was lower on blood. Gravy, you said
There's like a slaughterhouse at the Citadel, and the cow blood is all like brought down and then concentrated. So you've got these blood red pills that is like all the iron from the slaughterhouse of the Citadel, because that's just a crazy image.
They do. They've got like that nasty iron taste.
Yeah, but like, hey man, that's fine with me. And so, like, yeah, I'll have taken my iron supplements, and then I'll be working out with them, just kind of doing a daily workout, because it's one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily feel a need to work out, but it's just part of my day. Like, I don't necessarily like, I should work out more so I can stay fit. It's like, this is what you do between the hours of 8 and 9.
Yeah, I like the idea that to help train you, we have like these wood panels that are on a rod, and I'll like blow one of them and you have to shoot it.
Yeah,
like,
clay pigeon.
Yeah.
Pop it up from the ground and I have to hip fire.
Yep, we do that.
Oh yeah.
Lots of training.
Ours is in like a soundproofish room though, or at least like semi, so that way we don't like, it's not just gunfire all the time.
I pictured out in the yard.
Yeah, it'd be outside. You guys are now disturbing True Sight.
Sorry.
You got a moment of silence.
Yeah.
And my thing is just to occasionally go, nope, ain't right. Try it again.
You're off center.
like it.
And like, what do people look like visually? I
Oh
want
yeah,
to
we
ask
probably
because like
should say that. Huh?
we talked
what,
about
what does your characters look like, everybody? As
My-
you're going about your day.
My character has bobbed blonde hair, a cowboy hat with a little yellow symbol on it. She wears a
Everybody gets
like
a cobalt star, by the way.
vest that with a red like kind of tie thing, and then pants, and she's got strappies that don't actually hold anything, but she likes the look of like being all strapped up. So like she thinks it looks cool to wear like gun holsters, but she doesn't have any guns. So
you put snacks in them sometimes.
yes, sometimes with snacks.
She just walks along with her hands in her pocket, in her
Yeah.
holsters. And
Pulls out jerky.
Plus, that like bottles of sarsaparilla,
Yeah.
spinning them in her hands.
You need to hydrate.
It's adorable. I love it. All right. Well, what does Rusty look like since he's helping out?
Have any of you played Steam World at all? Okay, so it's a great little game. If you get a chance, play it. It's a lot of fun. But basically, just like you would think, like goggle, googly eye type eyeballs, brass, a lot of brass, and then like the non-armored parts are brass, and then the like very armored parts, the joints are more brass like, but the like ears and the chest and stuff are very like a blue steel kind of boilerplate color.
Ooh, you could be made out of cobalt.
I think I have a cobalt fire in my belly. Like when the boiler plate comes out to protect, you see this little glowing ball of cobalt like in his innards, and that's his
Great.
guts. He's also got like a hatch, like a porthole hatch, in the back of his head and in his back, which is where all the clockworky mechanisms are together. So it's like a steamship kind of porthole thing that Bloodshot has to open up when he's going to work inside.
That's right. That's right. And that's something that we forgot to mention was that cobalt is like it's a power source. You can use it. All of the trains run on cobalt.
Oh.
Like you burn it and it's like coal on cocaine.
And
drugs.
hence, it's my heart.
And it's his heart. It's got a blue steel heart. I like it.
Oh, and I wear a hat, so I have somewhere to put my badge.
Aw.
Oh, and my guns have magnets on them, and I just sort of slap them to my body in different spots. So
Great.
Wonderful.
All right. What is Bloodstone? What is his name?
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
Just like the eyes.
Deadshot. Bloodstone. What?
Beefcake, whatever his name is. So he definitely has his haircut is definitely just kind of like this black shaggier look, and you'll often find it more like kind of covering his face, because again, like he's not exactly the best at communicating with other people, so it's very easy to hide behind. But you'll know when he means serious business because he has to like pull his hair back so that way he can see better with his pistol. Other than that, it's like very, very dark black hair. And you can see that he's not like a very thickly built individual. He was never the kind of person who would do like 1,000 crunches or lift like ridiculous loads of anything. He is more quick on his feet, and he looks very much like he could kind of slink around through a crowd without really drawing too much attention to himself. But you see that his hands specifically are always covered in bandages. Just whenever you see him, because he cuts his hands open so often, And because they're on the palms of his hands, they never truly heal. So he always has to kind of do rewraps on his hands every day.
Freaking owl. Gosh, like, this guy hurts me. What does Yuza?
True sight.
Yes, please.
I think for the most part, he just always looks really disheveled. He's got like a messy mop of brown hair that he just sticks a hat on to cover it up. It has a crumpled shirt and suspenders. Like wears a duster over top of it to, try and look more together.
Is he? He's younger than.
I mean, he's in his 20s.
In his 20s. Okay. All right. How old is Bloodshot?
Bloodshot, he would probably be, I want to say he's probably like in his early 30s, maybe. Like he's been like, because if he's in like a mentor style position at the school, he's either like kind of younger but way too talented, and at the same time like, oh, the horror of his past. But at this point, like if he was in his 30s, he would have been there for about 20 years just learning and honing his craft. And that's why to him it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I take my iron supplements, yeah, I do this, yes, I do this, yes, I do this. And he becomes very regimented in his way because it's just his day-to-day. It always has been.
I hear what you're saying. What does Joker look like?
Joker has tan skin, black hair that's like tied into a neat ponytail. He wears a red overcoat over a gold vest, like that's shiny sheen gold, but not like actual cloth. White shirt and like, the flat red ties.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's where his badge is.
Nice. I like it. Very good. All right. So, whilst everybody is training out in the yard and or being disturbed, a door appears in the wall next to you.
Oh God!
It's like it just wasn't there before, and all of a sudden the door opens and out comes a man who has kind of dark circles under his eyes. Like he's got a little bit of a Jack Sparrow kind of thing going on, and he's just looking down, shuffling through some papers with like a hooked hand. And he's like, no kidding, he's got like the whole pirate regalia and everything. And you guys recognize this as Hook? Locksmith, sorry. Recognize this as Locksmith, who is a higher ranking warden than the rest of you. He's just like, whoa, oh, okay, yeah. I got your assignment. He like kind of like points his papers around. Okay, all right, there you go. All right. Clock man.
Do we salute?
Yeah, I would like you to.
No, I salute.
I don't.
You don't actually have to do that. I just
Okay.
reminds me of the old days.
Sorry. What's the mission?
Well, looks like there have been some kids going missing down in Cobalt. He like flips through his papers again. He's like, yeah, Cobalt. So you got plane tickets there, train tickets. You've got train tickets there.
The plane of the land.
Remember to sign out and everything as you guys head out. That's your job.
He's also like, he has a hook for his hand, so he's just like scratching his head with the hook, and like will stab onto a paper and move out of the way.
Yeah. Precisely.
All right.
You guys have any questions or anything? I'm supposed to answer them.
Do we know who's taking the kids?
Who's taking the kid? Nah, not really. There has been kidnappings, and that is all I know in Cobalt. Might want to head down there and ask around.
Oh, like all over the place or just one spot?
Cobalt mostly, seems. He says, shuffling. There's a agent on the ground out there. His name is Hanging Judge. I guess.
That's not ominous.
So, head down there, Cobalt, find the Hanging Judge,
See
ask
you,
him what's going
warden.
on. Yeah.
All right. Do we need the whole team?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would take the whole team.
All right.
Usai closes his book and he tucks back into his jacket.
I've always liked you, kid.
Joker's the only one that we have to go get, right?
Oh, I'll get him. He turns around, walks back through his door, and he just like comes back out with Joker. Joker, from your perspective, a door opens up in the wall that wasn't there before, and you just get hooked.
Tarnation, locksmith.
Where's my sarsaparilla? Like,
All right, any questions? No?
What time does our train leave?
What am I doing here?
I knew.
Oh my god.
so you're saying it leaves at high noon?
Oh my god.
But we only have 2 hours to get ready, so why don't y'all pack your stuff?
I'll have stuff to pack.
I look down. Guns. We gotta get guns.
Yeah.
Gotta get
I got
guns,
mine already.
Supplies like food and
Wait, are we
water.
going to a town?
Well, we got.
Yeah.
How long's the trip?
So why do we need to pack food if there's gonna be food
You never
there?
know. You never know. Plus, we won't have the company card.
I mean, you're probably not going to be staying in Cobalt.
Do we have to requisition resources, or is resources like a role we can make?
I'd say requisition.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
we
like
gotta go.
you'll like they've got like storerooms and stuff. Like just like freaking Bloodshot's getting all his blood from the slaughterhouse. You know, like
Okay.
he can. You guys can just like go in and be all like, "Hey, we need stuff. We're leaving."
Okay.
Cool.
All
So
right.
yeah, go find the Hanging Judge.
Sounds ominous.
That's what I said.
Freaks me out.
What's his power? Is that cliche? Should I not ask that? Is that like taboo?
He like stabs a paper and holds it up. He's like, I think he can control rope.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
Kinky.
What do you mean?
I like this kid. Anyway, I'm leaving.
Ah.
Let's change the subject. I'm leaving. He just goes through the door.
I see
And then,
everybody
like-
else waving, so I wave as well.
Yeah, as soon as you guys look away from the door, it's gone.
All right. Off to
I see a
requisition.
pirate.
I see a pirate.
You know, sometimes you get all types in the warden.
I guess. Yeah, let's requisition some supplies.
Sounds good.
You guys requisition some supplies from a young woman with like red hair up in a ponytail, and she's got big, huge glasses. She's very kind and very polite, and she gives you guys everything that you need.
Hey there, darling. You got anything good back there, or is it just
Well, what are you looking for?
probably a bedroll that ain't been slept in?
Well, I can get you bedrolls for everybody, right?
I have my own
Yes,
stuff.
please.
All right. She
No.
gets bedrolls for everybody. At some point, she needs to like pick up like something really, really heavy that looks like she won't be able to. Like she's like this thing is twice as big as she is, and so she just kind of like cracks her knuckles and then turns into a gigantic like werewolf fox monster, and like picks it up and carries it over and dumps it down in front of Rusty.
Huh.
Yep, that seems about normal.
Still got those glasses on.
Thanks, Shelly.
All right, see you later.
I nudge Bloodshot.
Bye.
I take my long gun and clink, click it to my back, and take the pistol and clink and put it like here over my heart, and then grab up the box and it just like stays there, and I walk that way, you know, like a front loader would on Aliens kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I just have a bandolier of daggers.
Do you?
Why
I
not?
have
Okay.
2 more strappies on me that have granola bars in them.
Who's like gets together like a really big bag full of just anything conceivably that he thinks he would need, and he's like, don't want to be blindsided.
Go.
I mean,
Fate point.
We're in jail.
For puns, you know.
I am not giving out fate points for puns because just rolling at them. We don't want to incentivize puns any more than they are.
Oh, come on.
aw,
No reward for punning.
Was I not clear in my
It's true.
verbiage?
You need to start doing future puns now.
Ah, yes.
Everything is all about blindness.
I like the idea of him just saying something randomly, and then like, you know, an hour later, then the pun comes in. You know?
It's a long con. It's a long con.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that is when like everybody else is kind of left and turned around, Bloodshot's still standing there and just
You
Bye.
need anything?
just
else?
leaves, like he just like didn't know when the right time to go was, because like he was kind of like doing a mental checklist, like, do I need a firearm? Nope, I only have the one because it's special made so my power can work. Do I need food? Rusty grabbed food. Do I need the bedroll? Nope, I got all my own supplies because I've been part of the wardens for something about 20 years now, close to 15. So just mental checklist, and then nope, turns around, walks away.
Everybody else is already gone.
Yeah.
Just
I'll go grab Bloodshot.
scratches her head as she watches you guys leave. All right, so y'all head on over to the train station. Everybody loads up, and at high noon, the whistle blows and they pull away from the station.
Payload's moving out. Come on, guys.
Get on payload.
The worst.
Uh,
There ain't even a bank card on this. I don't know how it's a payload. Just walks on. And he's wearing like a black duster. He's got the flat black cowboy hat on.
you guys have a how do you call it? I guess it's not a connecting flight. It's just a stop. The train stops at some place.
A
and then
junction?
it continues on for yeah, a junction.
Do you have to get out, or do we stay on the same train?
I'm pretty sure you stay on the same train.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stay on the same train, but a bunch of civilians get on
I don't like that he knows this.
because they're heading to the who knows what.
You keep looking at Tyler for questions, and I don't know what the answer should be.
And here's the thing about this world is that, you know, you have your big spectacular, like, turn into a werewolf at will powers, but then there are also, like, the really small and kind of insignificant powers where, for instance, the conductor can always knows exactly what time it is.
That's his power.
That's his power.
That's pretty useful.
What time is it? 12:02. We're late. Gotta get moving. So, chugga on the choo-choo train. You guys are heading down there. How are you passing the time on the train?
Joker is shuffling through a deck of cards, just like, doing the fancy shuffles.
Anybody gonna play cards with Joker or just?
Actually, so
Come on, I won't use my powers. This will be fair square, as they say.
I always say that, but then you always do.
Oh, come on, I can't even cross my fingers this time.
you notice True Sight's eyes kind of glaze over, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'll play some cards."
Bloodshot definitely just has like hands on his lap, eyes closed, just waiting for his stop. Like he's done this so many times before that like it's not necessarily like a new experience for him. It's like the glamour of riding public transit is gone. So he's just
Me every day.
And those two are gonna play cards, and I just walk down the aisle still with that crate, and then I just lower myself, like my legs just shrink up, and I just lower into the aisle so that the flat top of the crate becomes their table.
I do want to like look forward to when we get to Cobalt and like see the event where we run into the hanging judge, so I know where we have to go.
Okay. He is at the sheriff's office because he is the guy that's in charge there. He's the dude.
The sheriff.
He's the sheriff.
He's a dude.
I mean, like he's the local warden essentially. Like he is placed in Cobalt as the guy to protect that area. Like he's been assigned that area. So they do have a warden's office. So I guess we call it the warden's office. So
Okay.
he's at the warden's office.
And so I see.
And now
us-
you're blind.
I see us going to the warden office.
And
Well, do I see anything else there?
at the warden's office?
When we get there,
What are you looking for specifically?
just anything out of the ordinary.
Anything out of the ordinary?
Have we ever been there before?
I don't know. Have you guys been to Cobalt? It's a pretty it's a pretty rough and tumble place. It's called Cobalt because that's where all the cobalt mines are. So like pretty much everybody who lives there is like, essentially coal miners on drugs.
I've probably been there at least once or twice,
Oh yeah, definitely.
just
A bunch of times.
from time spent at the central office. Would have probably been there.
Rusty was probably actually made there.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But I imagine over the years I've been on assignment in Cobalt.
All right.
Well, I'm blind for a little bit,
Yeah, you are.
so let's play some cards.
You sure you want to do this, True Sight?
I'll help him. Don't worry.
All right.
I'm gonna sit like behind him and like fix his cards for him and basically play for him.
Yeah.
And he'll like put down, and I'm like, no, not that one. No, this one. Play that one.
I will be taking sneak peeks of like different card draws and still doing very well even without your help, but using your help regardless.
That you do.
That I do.
That you do. Whilst you are taking a sneak peek to look at what the next card draw is going to be, in your future vision, you catch sight of a weird shadow that goes across the table.
Like something outside.
Yeah, something big.
I slam my hand down on the table and point where I think it is.
No, we still have to do another draw.
As he does so, that
Sight.
shadow actually goes across the table, and y'all look out the window and you see the broad side of a ship as it goes by,
Is
And
that
I-
normal?
and then it just kind of
I
like
don't think so.
floats back up.
I'm gonna quickly take an ace from the cards he slammed and then switch it with like a 2.
And at that moment, there is the sound of shattering glass farther up the train station, or farther up in the train. Like, not the same car as you guys, but way farther up. And then you hear, like, people screaming.
I think we got
Fire.
I open one eye.
Hey, time to move.
Hands on my legs, and I'll just stand up, like very creaky, slow, like yeah, I heard him screaming, and just like hands in his front pockets, just begins steadily walking down the hall towards where he needs to go.
I extend my legs and I keep walking, but I keep the crate.
Bring the crate with you.
Do the cards like tumble off?
I'm gonna put
I
a
just
hand on the
imagine.
back of Rusty and let him guide me forward.
I'm gonna wind step off like my wind, I guess, on the side, so I get in front of Rusty. Because no offense, he's kind of slow. And I'm gonna get right up with Bloodshot and get ready.
All right. I imagine the two of you go through the door at the same exact moment. Like, you slide open the first door, step over into the next car, slide open that door, and you hear the sounds of more crashing glass, or more smashing glass, more people screaming. And as you enter into the car, you see that there is a couple of men with bandanas on their heads and daggers in their mouths, and they're like, "Your money or your lives." And at this point, we would normally roll initiative, but what we're going to do is find out who's the quickest and then decide who goes first from there. Two.
What are we doing?
Quickest.
That's the quickest. What's your quick
Okay,
stat?
I see. I was thinking, is this a game I don't know about?
All
a
right,
mini
so
game.
between the twos, y'all can decide who goes first.
I think since Bloodshot's further up, he'll be going first.
Yeah. I'll go first. So I see these guys, and I see them with these like knives in their mouths, and like, do they also have like a knife in their hand as well? And they're saying it like, do they have
got,
like
guns?
Okay.
So wait, they have a.
I mean, like,
Your money or your life.
So they're holding a gun by the barrel in their mouth, and they have 2 knives.
Well, there's one that has a gun in his mouth, and there's one that's got a knife in his mouth.
He has a gun in his mouth, and he hates wielding a knife. It's like some weird One Piece abomination. Like, I don't know what's going on with this guy.
To be honest, this game is very One Piece.
I love it.
As far as the powers go.
Alrighty. So I guess I'll shoot first, ask questions later. Because this is one of those, like, don't judge a book by the cover. So I'll look down at Tornado and say, did we pay for dinner and a show? Is this some sort of act?
No, I don't think so. They kind of broke the window.
And just without like, as soon as she says no, just K, and like he just starts blasting. And you see him just kind of like level his gun over one of his other hands as a stabilizer. And he just takes a shot at... are any of them looking particularly like threatening on somebody already? Or are they just like standing around just... Ha-ha! Like, or is like one of them like roughing up somebody?
Yeah, I'll say like one guy's got like a like some banker looking nerd like by the shirt. He's like pointing a knife at him.
Okay. I'll turn back to the group of these pirates who said like, "Oh, it's either your money or your life," and I'll tell them, "Fuck, it's like how much price you put on a bullet," and I'll just shoot. I'll shoot that guy like in the shoulder that he has his weapon on.
Okay, go for it.
I'll try to at least.
And how are you approaching this attack?
So what I am planning on approaching this attack is that I want to kind of call out to that guy so that way he more turns towards me. And then as he's turning towards me, I kind of shine my I'll shine my warden's badge off what if there's any sun coming through like the crashed train. I'll shine it on his eyes real quick and then just blast him.
Nice.
So that way he kind of has to like bring it up to cover his eyes or like squint and reel back a little bit, just enough to give me a wider target.
I like it. So you're distracting him
before
you shoot him. Now, what this sounds like is another action that you can perform during combat. There are typically like 3 different actions that you can perform during combat. One is attacking, one is defending, and you kind of have to defend when you're attacked. But there's also creating an advantage, which is essentially you can force an aspect on another character. So what you could do is that you could roll to create an advantage on him where his defense is lowered because he has sun in his eyes.
Okay.
Or you could just attack him.
I'm just going to shoot him.
Go for it.
Yeah.
But I want that to be out in the open. Everybody should know that you can do things like create advantages.
Yeah.
For yourself or for other players?
Or anyone.
Either. Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
But that is your whole action.
All right. So, how does one do the punchies in this game?
You need to
Use fudge
roll
dice?
roll your fudge dice, and then whatever result you get from that, you also add your attack.
All right.
You're going clever with this, right?
Yes.
And is clever your +3 guy?
Yeah.
All right. So I would agree that is a clever approach. So go ahead and roll and add +3 to that. And I will defend as him.
Okay, so I got 2 blanks, a plus and a minus, so sum of all 4 was 0, and then +3 would be 3.
Okay. Away. Come back. Come back, roller. All right. And I got a 1, so you definitely hit him. So he is going to take a stress, which is this game's version of HP, essentially. So there goes 1 stress on good old Pirate Mook. All right.
And then
Who is next?
if I have any like extra movement, I'll get out of the way so that way I'm not just blocking the door.
Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like move actions aren't even necessarily a thing.
Sweet.
It's just like you get attacks and you get advantages. So like everything else is pretty cinematic. You can just say, I'm in there, I'm fighting.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the fudge dice guide.
Fudge dice.
I will
Like
send it to
I have
you.
just normal dice, so I want to know.
Do you want a roller?
Yes, please.
I can send it to him.
post a roller.
Boop.
Yeah.
Same one.
Okay, so gonna slide, I guess, underneath Rusty, pop up, start making my way to the front, sees the situation, like, huh. And then Bloodshot shoots some guy, and I imagine like people are like turning their guns towards him.
Yes. I would say so.
I'm just gonna take my deck of cards, pull out 2 of them, and just throw them using like the luck I saved up earlier, so that they like jam right in the cylinders.
Oh, okay. All right. And what is this? Are you creating an advantage or are you
I'm gonna create an advantage by being flashy.
Okay. All right. I like it. So is this going to what should the aspect here be is
They won't immediately be able to fire without removing the cards from the cylinders.
all right, jammed guns. So I'll say that this will put a debuff on their attack
Okay.
because they've got to fiddle with their guns like geez, they're distracted. All right, so pirate mooks have jammed guns. Would you like to roll to do that?
Yes, how do I read that?
It
Should say the sum of all four.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sum of all four is 1 plus my base trait level 3, so sum plus base 4.
that definitely works. Actually, what number did you get exactly?
Sum of all four.
Sum of all four.
1.
1 plus 3.
3, yeah. So it's
So
4.
you got 4 exactly. Let's see. Reading the errata on creating an advantage. Succeed. You can generate 1 free invocation on the aspect. Did you succeed with style? I think you succeeded with style. I have never actually I've never actually rolled dice for this game before, so
Oh.
I'm making sure I understand this. Outcome success. Success is your result is higher by 1 or 2. Success with style is that your result is higher by 3 or more. And they got a -1, so you did succeed with style. So you get 2 free invocations on this aspect. Invocations means that in this term, invocations. I'm just gonna say that these two have disadvantage on their next attack. I'll
Okay.
speak in 5e terms so that I understand. Okay. Moving on. Who had 1 quickness? LB and Tyler. Okay. Which of you wants to go first?
After you.
I'm in the front, so it will make
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
Well, so the guy that Bloodshot shot.
Mhm.
Use my
Where
gun.
did he have someone at gunpoint or knife point or something?
Yeah, he's still got somebody in his
Okay.
hand.
It was a gun
So-
knife.
A
A
gun.
knife.
Oh. So
It's
what
a-
It's a pistol with a bayonet.
Yeah.
is he by the window he came in?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what
And the
I
window's
would
all
like,
smashed up.
yeah, what I would like to do is I don't know how I should word this. I would like to slide. I would like to run forward and slide on the floor and angle myself perfectly so that I can blow him out the window
All right.
carefully.
Carefully? Okay.
Because I
Yeah,
have to.
I can see that to get the
Alright.
angle right. Yeah. All right. Let's go for it.
All right, roll him. Oh Jesus, motherfucking Christ! That's a -1.
Oh goodness. Well, I got a 2, so this sounds like a failure.
To me too.
Uh-huh.
So do I get a stress?
No.
Oh,
That. It just means that it doesn't happen.
so I slide and I go too far. And shit. And I
Yeah.
missed my shot.
Yep. It's just a failure. You do blow up his little pirate skirts though.
Ooh.
The Marilyn Monroe,
Ooh.
but with pirates.
All right. Tyler's next.
All right. So Justice already created an advantage, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that just, in the way that you're doing it, is that it causes them distress in the future.
I mean, I feel like there's so much more nuance to this than just that. Is that perhaps you could invoke it so that you have advantage on your next one? I need to look these up and make sure I know exactly what advantages are. I was so busy working on the campaign side of things, the story bits, that I was neglected.
So like, yeah. Just reading through it, so when you create an advantage, you create a new situation aspect.
Okay.
And aspects are things that
You can invoke.
we invoke.
Yes,
So he's created aspects for these two guys, which is jammed guns.
jammed guns. Yes.
And now, if I wanted to take advantage of that,
Yes.
how
How would you do that? It's a free invoke is the thing. There's 2 free invokes on this. And this advantage is going to exist for the rest of the game. After these first 2 free invokes are taken up, you need to spend fate points in order to take advantage of them.
Okay.
I know that much.
That's good. We're learning.
You guys said a lot of words, and it was just like,
So, like, aspects are always thing that you can use, and that's the point. That's why we came up with the aspects with each other. Is we always have something that that we can use in situations. So whenever you do something like create an aspect, that's now something that you can use.
Yes.
It's weird.
Let's see.
Sorry.
Steven, are you okay?
Yeah, no, my headphone just bumped against my mic.
I thought you were just, it was just like hour 20.
I think that it's really more just to take advantage of an aspect you can just add to your roll.
Okay.
So we'll call it a +2 because it just seems right to me.
I want to, like, I'm blind right
Yes.
now,
Yes.
but I can, like, quickly look into the future at where they're going to be in a second,
Mm-hmm.
and then plot my arm with a pistol on Rusty
Mm-hmm.
and wait for that second
Mm-hmm.
and shoot.
All right. Do
So,
that. So what is your approach here?
I think it's either clever or careful,
Okay.
because I'm waiting for this opportunity to show up.
This seems like a careful approach to me.
And I'm gonna roll actual dice.
Okay.
That's 1 minus on the dice,
Uh-huh.
but +3 instead of +2.
+3 +2.
No, it's 1 minus, but my careful stat is 3.
All right. Are you going to invoke the advantage?
Oh, yes.
Then add 2 to that.
Okay, then that's 4.
Or I guess you
Or
can
just
you can
use one.
you can invoke advantages after the fact. I need to well, first of all, I need to need to defend.
So right now it's a 2.
Right now it's a 2. Okay, so he rolled a 1. So you succeeded by 1.
Okay.
Which is just a success.
Versus succeeding by how much to get a succeed with style?
What even happens if you succeed with style while attacking?
Kill him.
Succeed with style.
Attack hits and causes damage.
Attack hits causes damage and may reduce the damage by 1 to generate a boost. Oh gosh.
I'm just gonna succeed, hit, and cause the damage.
All right. Is it the same guy that was attacked before?
No, it's one of the guys. How many?
There's 2 of them right now.
Okay, so it's the other one.
You attack the other one. Okay. All right. So he has a stress on him too. Woof.
Yay!
All right. We're learning.
We got it.
All right. So that was Tyler. Who has not gone yet? Graybeard? All right. What would you like to do?
So now remember, I've had that crate, and Rusty just spins at the hip and goes, and the crate just flies across at the other guy. And just before he fires it, he says, "Great, grab your socks, youngins." And then bam, it's like a cannon shot. The crate
Whoa!
That's
I'm
why
guessing this
I
is
always get out of the way.
It is definitely forceful. And that's,
All right.
it was so great when you said that. I was like, yes, it's perfect.
We've been on. He's done this before.
All right. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what the roll is.
Whew. All right. Is everybody using the dice roller? Is that
Yeah.
I'm using the dice roller. Some
All
people
right.
are using physical dice.
Okay.
I feel like the dice roller is just going to be quicker for me, so I don't have to look at those and go like, how much is that?
Okay. -2 plus my 3 is 1.
1. All right. Well, that still succeeds against my -1. So that is a success. Which one are you attacking? The one that's like holding on to the banker or the other one?
I think it'll be more interesting if I get the other one, because that's the one that Tyler just shot, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. So
All right.
2 on him, 2 on him kind of thing, team wise.
Gotcha. All right, so that pirate just goes flying back through the train car, and you guys lose sight of him. He just smashes against the wall, and the crate goes like smashes, like it's the balsa wood chair situation. It just like.
That's why I always
Alright.
pack my own gear.
Hatch.
Oh, that was all our
I
food.
love Bloodshot.
Oh, I love freaking Rusty. All right,
I don't eat food, so
the pirate that is here is going to throw the banker onto the ground and turn his gun on Rusty because that was freaking scary. And
Pirate meows.
how are you going to defend yourself from this? Are you just going to like top it out and be forceful, or are you going to try and duck? Like, because you need to roll to defend.
you said me, right?
Yes,
Okay,
pirate.
that's what I thought.
Pirate
yeah,
gets his gun out, points it directly at Robo-Man.
Yeah, just forceful. I mean, I don't duck. I have a quickness of 0, so
All right, you're just gonna tank it.
yeah. Huh?
Well, let's get that forceful roll.
All right, come on, dice roller. You got about 2 more chances to not fail me. There it is. It's +1 or 1 from the dice and 3, so 4 all told.
Nice.
4 all told. Okay, that sounds like succeed with style. So let us see. Let us see.
Your
Let us
opponent
see.
doesn't do what they want, plus you get a boost.
Nice. Let's look up what a boost is, shall we?
Yes. Do it. This is a new
Alright.
game system for me, so it's like, can we please look up what that is? I honestly don't know.
I hear words and I just do the thing.
I am familiar with the first half of this game, not so much the second half. So we are learning together as friends. So who is closest to the door right now that you guys just came in through?
Probably me, because at this point, Rusty would have walked up in order to shove the crate, so I'm just by the door.
I mean, I'm holding onto the back of Rusty and letting him guide me around.
Right, and I think Rusty went up to the front. Okay. So that door opens again, just, and there is a woman with like a great big coat on, with like it's like red and like flares out behind her. It's a trench coat, and she's got these stripedy pants and high boots, and just this enormous mane of dark hair, and she's got a eye patch on. And she's going to kind of just tap Bloodshot on the shoulder, and as he turns around, he sees her flip her eye patch up, and you are caught in the gaze of, she's got like one dark eye, and the one under the eye patch is just like
Super magic.
Yeah, it's like it's cursed somehow. Like that's a cursed image right there. It's a golden eye that just kind of like swirls a little bit and glints as you look into it. And she is going to try and create an advantage, which is to say, hypnotize you. And she's going to do this in a clever way. All right, how are you going to defend against this?
How is she going about hypnotizing me? Because depending on how that is trying to manifest, I will respond in a variety of ways.
It is, it's just straight up, well, okay, like, like, what is she hypnotizing you to do?
Yeah, like, is this one of those, like, I'm suddenly charmed by her, and she's like, hello, darling? Because if it's something like that, then my response, like, being cold and calculating, like, that doesn't work on me.
I mean, it's like she took you on the shoulder and she looked you in the eye, and she's a very pretty lady. So that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
As to what she's trying to get you to do, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah, so I am going to try and let my misunderstanding and misguided attempts at human emotion guide me in an advantage in a opposing like will save kind of deal against this charm effect.
All right, let's see it.
Who knew that being inept would be my so what am I adding to this, if anything?
Well, it depends on what approach you're taking here. Would you describe this as a careful approach or a clever approach?
I would say, because it's not flashy, because it's something about his past. It's not careful, because it's not like he's actively trying to do it.
I guess you're kind of relying on your intellect.
Yeah.
Here, a little bit.
Just my
but-
cleverness.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We'll say clever.
Okay, so I got a 5.
Okay, yeah, you definitely resist.
Just
I imagine that you just like flip her eye patch back down.
I'll flip it down with the barrel of my gun and then leave it underneath her chin.
And she just kind of looks at you and goes, "Well, shit." All right. So that is the end of the round. Let's begin at the top of the round. And as she does that, like 2 more pirates smash in through the windows.
Okay.
Ships and everything.
You were just waiting for that, weren't you?
Yeah.
You goof. How silly. All right, who went first?
Me.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, what would you like to do?
These your men?
Yes, that would be my man.
Tell them to stand down, or the ceiling of this train car is going to be redder than the color of your dress.
You strike a hard bargain.
Just barrel
And-
still pointed under, like soft spot underneath the jaw.
Yep, she's just kind of, you strike a hard bargain. And she's gonna like raise a hand, and all these guys that like jumped in are like, Aw. And all the pirates stand down.
And I will take a slow circle around her, so that way I can get behind her with the gun still up, but like I have her by an arm. So it looks like now the hostage situation is turned, but I never lost control of that situation. But now like I can maintain the gun underneath her, as well as have visual context of everybody else who is currently in this room.
Yep. All right.
Just, you heard the lady?
Yeah, they're all standing down, but they're also kind of like looking around like, how do we get out of this situation?
I stand up from the ground.
I'll offer a hand.
Oh, thank you. Now, what were y'all trying to steal? Just whatever you can get your hands on?
Yeah, money mostly. That's kind of our job.
I wouldn't call piracy a job. It's more of a freelance work?
Mercenary?
Mercenary.
That's still work.
Hmm.
I mean, she's not
It
wrong.
ain't tax deductible, as they say.
Yeah. It is
And-
still illegal, and
Downright illegal.
we've got to take you in now.
All right. She just shrugs.
What's your name, hon?
Oh, that'd be Captain Morgan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Miss Morgan. All right, boys, put your weapons on the ground. Follow us to the baggage cart. Thank you.
Jokingly, I'll put my knives on the ground.
The pirates are all kind of like putting their hands up, and then one just jumps out the window, and then like the rest of them jump out the window as well, and you guys see a shadow go by again, and that ship goes flying away, and you see the pirates hanging off of ropes as they go.
Watch out, I think they're going to jump out the window.
No honor amongst thieves, I guess.
It seems like your crew got a new captain while you were in here.
That's just the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately.
Now, I gotta ask, you said that you do lots of things to acquire money. People in your trade, we've been hearing about some kids that have been gone missing lately, going into Cobalt. You know anything about that?
I might. For a prize.
How's your life sound?
That sounds lovely.
Because I
But-
still have not let up from just
Yeah.
gun barrel. Like,
Though
I
I have
clicked
to
the
say
hammer
that I
back.
value my freedom a mite more than my life.
just don't say any response.
Well,
Don't move.
it depends on how valuable your information is. If you have, something that can give us a lead, then maybe it is worth your freedom. But if it's not, it's not.
All right. We'll see how much my information is worth.
Sorry, before we go any further, do we have the authority to let her off?
What, you mean like to get away?
Yeah, like if we're like, all right, well, you get like a reduced sentence. Is that in our jurisdiction?
We struck a plea deal.
She just wants you to let her walk. Like when this train lands, she walks away.
But LB's saying, are we judge, jury, executioner in this?
I mean,
Does it-
for the most part,
Okay.
it probably won't look good. You're gonna look a whole lot better bringing a pirate captain in than you are, striking up a deal with them.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was like Dogs in the Vineyard, where it was like, oh no, we are God, and jurisdiction wise or not. So
I
okay.
think the structure is pretty loose.
Mm-hmm.
That they give the wardens kind of free reign.
Yeah.
To use
You
their
could-
own decision making,
You could kill her and probably get away with it.
That's why I got the pistol there.
or we could let her go, and no one would. I mean, people would judge
Someone
us,
would give a shit,
but-
but like,
Yeah, I mean, but like they'd have to find out first.
What if we left her hogtied in the town, and then if she figured out how to get away, she figured out how to get away?
well,
I mean,
I guess I'm wondering, like, how Wild West is this that, like, we could, that's fine, or like,
you can like there is like prison systems in play. Like there is a jail cell
Jail
cell
Jail
at
sale.
the
yeah, ranch dressing.
at the warden's office. There is a jail cell where you could lock her up, and she would eventually like face charges, and I don't know, like the hanging judge sounds like a nice guy.
yeah, right?
So let's say we were to you were to give us information and we were to take you in town, and let's just say someone were to leave a key in your manacle as you're being transported.
Of course.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Let's get out of this cart with a bunch of civilians in it. By the way, I am going to.
You mean the one banker dude who's probably unconscious from the box hitting the guy who's holding him? How is that guy, by the way?
Superman.
Oh yeah, he's still there, isn't he?
Just
I'm
look
gonna
over.
help people up and make sure they're
Dust them off.
dust them off, and I'm gonna like motion for Bloodshot to.
Yeah, all the people are pretty grateful. They're all like, "Thank goodness there were wardens aboard."
Oh, you're welcome, honey.
Rusty, you're with
Oh, let me
me.
fix that bow tie, yours.
I'm just gonna start slapping the pirate awake.
Ah!
Start
Sure.
feeling around for someone to help
Rusty's head
jacket.
There's nobody in there. Oh.
Rusty's head turns around, and then his body swings around, and he realizes that blind sight's still behind him, and so he like dips one arm around and then the other arm around, and so like he's like this, and then he turns blind sight and then starts walking with him like that way.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. And just go
All
back
right.
go back into the
So-
other cart that we were in to start.
y'all apprehend yourself a couple of pirates. Where are you going to take them?
I was gonna have Rusty put her in manacles or handcuffs or whatever it is that we do with prisoners. I was going to sit her down in the chair across from the seat that I had initially purchased for this train ride, and I was going to sit down with my gun out facing her right in the seat where I started this whole trip.
Wait.
All right.
That's my seat.
You're busy
Tough
talking
luck.
you're busy waking up pirates in the other room, boy.
I paid for that seat. You
No,
get
I
to
mean
pay.
like you were
You
legitimately
didn't
on
pay for any of this.
I thought we were dragging the pirates back. That was a.
No, I was just getting the captain in the back. You were
Captain back,
waking up
okay.
a pirate, yeah. So if anything, it's myself, Rusty, and True Sight, while the other two.
Rusty leads me to the room, and I sit down and point my gun, and then he like corrects it to point at the pirate back.
It's like you're like blinking from Men in
yeah. She like looks down at the gun, looks up at him, is like, you know how to use that thing?
On occasion.
All right. Well, I'll give you the information that I have if you can assure me that I will be able to walk. Key.
Lady, this is something that I've been pursuing for quite some time, and I have let myself into the realm of possibility that maybe, just maybe, I can find some closure here. So, if the information that you give me ends up being wrong, I will find you. I will throw you off your goddamn boat and happily watch you fall, and I don't experience happiness that often. So you best be telling me the truth from the get-go, or I might as well just kill you now.
Cross my heart.
We'll forget we'll forget a key and a manacle.
Thank you.
Hey, now, information, if you wouldn't mind. And when I say that, like I do, like kind of like lopside the gun in my hand, and then just straighten it back up, still pointed at her the whole time.
I was approached by a young man not too long ago, looking for hired hands. He was looking for children with powers. Said that he was starting an orphanage.
There is
Well-
no emotional betrayal on the face, but inside is just blood boiling.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Is there something we can invoke here?
I would say that this could be the troubled mentor part,
Mm-hmm.
where God, the only person that I could possibly mentor can't see for a damn right now.
I got other senses.
So you hear what you hear is the sound of just this slight kind of shick sound, as you know that I have cut my palm while squeezing my gun, so you know that at any point I could have a bullet ready now, and this is very but it's at the phrase orphanage.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm familiar. Or familiar enough.
Anyway, I don't deal, or I don't work with children. So I was afraid I had to turn him down.
You got a name?
Levi.
Thank you. Have you ever thought about changing your line of work? Seem pretty resourceful.
What did you have in mind?
Public office.
Doesn't sound like it pays as well as what I'm doing already.
No, but it makes a difference.
The key?
When we get there. Because you said that you were going to walk out of this place with a key in your manacles, which means we are going to arrive to our destination with a key in your manacles. Up until that point, I cannot guarantee a key.
Alrighty. I'll be waiting.
Just,
And then she just sits in the same place that she was.
Yep. I'm just silently, gun still pointed at her. Gonna hold that position.
We come back in. Hey, I think that's enough. He's clearly awake.
Is he? I think I got knocked out after the 20th slap.
Yeah, well, just pick him
Were
up
you
and,
still in the corner just whacking that pirate?
Yeah. He's like dragging him and whacking him like, wake up.
all right, let's
Like he
bring
woke
him
up after one of those slaps, and then you slapped him back asleep.
I'm not clever.
I am now. Huck him over your shoulder and let's bring him back.
All right.
We walk back into our area. What'd you guys find out?
Got a name.
A name? Her name? We already knew her name.
That's adorable.
Levi.
Oh, can't hear you. Too far away from your microphone, sir.
Levi.
Oh, Levi. Is that his name? No, that's the name of...
Man who's looking for kids.
Oh. For what? What does
That's
he want him
creepy.
for?
Nothing good. If you're past 30 and you're looking up to pick up a shit ton of kids ages 6 through 12, something ain't right.
Well, you're not wrong.
It's really specific.
It's very specific.
Truesat, how far ahead did you look?
Well, I don't actually know when we're gonna get there, but let's go immediately to the warden's office when we get there, so I can see. Yeah.
I don't know why you do this to yourself. It's like we know we're gonna get there. Why didn't you just look like tomorrow?
Because then he won't be able to see until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain
What?
relief that comes with not having to see all the time.
That doesn't make any sense.
What's that expression? The blind leading the blind?
I don't think you're using that right.
No, I think I'm using it right in this situation. He's blind trying to lead us when we don't know the situation.
I see. I'm sorry. I thought you were meaning something else.
What do you think I meant?
You know what? We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it at that. Rusty, darling, you kind of threw all of our supplies everywhere over there, and it's kind of a mess. Would you mind picking that up for us, doll?
No, I almost went into Kronk there.
Oh yeah, I'll pick it up real good.
Pick it up yourself. He just turns, does that weird like head, then body, and then legs, and then just leaves the car. But other scene following Rusty, you guys still there? He goes and he basically walks up to a porter or anybody who works for the train and is all like, you need to pick up our supplies for us. Put them in a bag or box, maybe a backpack. And just, badge on his hat kind of thing. Waiting for them to do the actual work.
Okay, well, you are able to convince some people to help you out, whether they're doing that because they want to help you or because they're scared. It happens.
Economy of motion. Anything could break, so you do as little as possible.
Exactly. We should have called him Murphy, because he'd be fulfilling Murphy's law. All right. Okay. So y'all sit down. The rest of the train ride goes without a molestation. And as the train descends from the sky and pulls into the station at Cobalt, I think now would be a good time to take a break if we need a 5 minutes to restroom, water,
5 minute
etc.
shower.
God damn it, RJ. Alrighty, so we are going to then 5-10 minute break. We'll try and be back soon. I was eating a pretzel and now my mouth is dry.
Nice.
But we are having
wish.
giveaways still, so if you want to win Steam codes, just be active in chat and we will give a prize out when we come back. It looks like on the docket for our 5 o'clock giveaway is actually a game that RJ mentioned, which was Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So we're gonna try and be back. We're gonna give away some Steam codes. Thank you, Chucky Jack, for the follow. We are actually also donating money in honor of people who follow the channel. So thank you for doing it without me even having to say anything. So I'll add you to the list and just stay watching for when we donate. You're muted, Graybeard.
And if it was donations and follows, we could do the thing when we come back.
That's true. We will. All right. So we will see you guys soon. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.